What is happening, everyone? No intro today. You know what? It's been a crazy week for me. I mean, but glad to be back. Looking a little bit older, but I hope you guys are doing well. And yeah, there's no countdown, no music, no intro. Just kind of when I get into it because we also would have been a little bit later. I changed some things in my OBS that would have delayed the stream even more. Let's see. Let you guys get settled down. Guys, don't forget to share a couple of things. Don't forget to share this live stream with your teams. Everybody can follow up in real time. Let's see. We got somebody is tagging me on Discord. All right, Danny, go ahead. I know you're too nice to me to insult me, but in behalf of a friend, you're fine. All right, so my mom cooks too salty. Well, I'm gonna find out. I'll tell you if she really does in about 4 months when she when she visits from the States. You guys know I live in the UK, and yeah, my parents live in the States. So some people wonder, how is it that you have this accent if you're supposedly from Brazil? So that is why. You know what? If you guys shout out to whoever, I'm gonna bring Jax and some of the other peeps here in just a second. I'll mute them in just a second, but don't forget to share with your teams, okay? It helps tremendously. I think for the people that have stayed with the game for this long, I think everybody wants to see as much as they can from the game, and so I'm glad to be here with you guys. Shout out to those that are able to freaking grow a beard. It's been, by the way, this is 9 days of letting my beard grow. Not even 2 weeks. Whew. And it's horrible. It itches. It's painful, but I'm gonna do it. I think the first time in my entire life I was able to really grow a beard. So we got Zodiac. What's up, Zodiac? Salt Captain Barbosa, good to see you. I really like seeing people I know, friendly faces. So we got Turgon, Bohica, the Judgment, Dretchin. Shout out to the guys from ACES. Amador Valor. I'm gonna chill with you guys for a few hours here, and so we'll have plenty of time to talk about things, updates that have been happening, season update that you guys are gonna probably interesting to see, and all the good stuff from the game. Work is busy, and I'm getting a cold and fever a few 3 hours I have, so please excuse a lack of creativity. Nah, man, it's good. I'm just glad to see you, Danny. Honestly, I mention this from time to time. I am a kind of guy that don't play too many games, and honestly, I haven't been a vivid gamer for many years. But I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Okay. And so when 3 years ago, when I saw the ad for this game, I was like, I'm in, and I've been hooked ever since. But, been playing since the first day of the game launch and seeing so many people go, I'm really happy to see people that, I've known for years now playing the game. And definitely, I understand, but it definitely sucks when people leave the game. Some really good friends of mine have left the game or played very, very little due to real life. But at least to me, it really sucks seeing those guys go. So I'm glad to see that you're still around, Danny. I don't know. Maybe we should do a plea to get Danny to join YUDZ. I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking too loud here or thinking out loud. But Danny, maybe one day, Danny, YUDZ, collab, we can make it work. All right, so let's bring everybody up. And so we got Jax. So we got Jax in the house today. Turgon is going to be with us for about an hour, I believe. And then we got some peeps from ORDR and ACES as well. Oh, give me a second here. Let me check The world chat. I just saw my name pop up there. That's what people are talking about. There you go, Sammy Knox. Hi, Mom. All right, let's see. Fellow dude, prove us you are here. Cornesi, I'm right here. I'm right here, man. What you talking about? Let's see what else. Kyle, fellow was late because he was soaking a collet. Oh, come on, man. I mean, honestly, I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means, Kyle. But Jax, right here, my homie right here, just corrected you for me. All right, married with 3 kids, bro. I think after so many years of being around here, especially you, Kyle, would have known that. Come on. All right, let's bring everybody here. Yes, Cornelius, you're famous right there. To the all 47 people watching this live stream right now. By the way, we're gonna go through reports, looking at all these funky stuff, all this good stuff from the season. All right, so let me unmute myself, guys. You guys are on the spot. Want to say hi really quick?
You got the bubbles up?
Let me see. I don't know. I do have the bubbles up. Give me a second, man. Let me see here.
What's with this beard, bro? What's happening with you, bro? I'm concerned. I'm a little concerned, bro. I'm a little concerned.
So am I.
Project Nova. I asked for bubbles. I get Project Nova.
No. I just had to switch the. I just had to switch the scenes here to pull up the bubbles. Give me a second here.
Yeah.
Stream kit. Overlay. Give me a second.
Yeah.
We're getting the bubbles up.
Get it together now. Come on now. Get it together.
Let's see. Voice. Here we go. Show my avatar. There we go. Here we go. YouTube voice. There we go. Gotcha.
Yeah.
How you been, Jax?
Same old. What about you?
Pretty good. Just very, very busy with stuff, but yeah, good.
Man, we ain't seen you in like 3 months, bro.
I know, it's been a while. Been active in the game, but
You're not even a streamer anymore at this point. You're just like a casual reporter, I guess.
We'll see. Can't make.
Yeah.
Not gonna make any promise on the stream, but we'll see how things go.
No, me neither. I'm done with that.
So. All right.
How much on the stream?
G-Unit, want to say hi really quick?
The Rat.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing well.
He changed his name to the Rat. These guys got a bunch of... Remember that movie 7? They got a bunch of names out of the movie 7 with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. They all picked all these names from that movie, The 7 Deadly Sins.
Exactly.
All right, give me a second. Copy link. Where is this? A second, gotta add somebody else to this. Here we go. Why can't I see Scar here?
No.
I guess I can. All right, Turgon, did you already say hi?
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
There you go.
Pleasure to be here as always. Happy Friday. Hope everyone has a great weekend ahead.
What you guys
It
think?
is Friday, huh?
Yeah, it is. I mean, early for you, Jax, but yeah.
What is this chick talking about in the world chat? Cornisi, how much he pays for watch his YouTube stream? What the hell is she talking about?
Where is that at? Oh, here we go.
Go down the world chat. The world chat. The world chat.
Yeah, but how much for for
What is
watching his
she
streams?
talking
I
about?
don't know.
You know that chick there, boy. She had an man. That's a yeah. She's something. Let's say that. Oof.
Hi, y'all.
There you
Hey.
go. How are you doing, Scar?
Good, I can join. I was just connecting my headset.
Sweet.
Hey.
Well,
Doing good.
let's see.
So you wanna pull up the the world map, and we just kind of give an update for everybody because that's what they came for. This is the King of the Hill, big boy server.
I mean, let's put it this way. Definitely not the most populated server. I think probably King of the Mountain server randomly, according to them, by accident, has a lot of active teams. But our server was set up, to fight the biggest teams in the game right now.
Well, what we think are the biggest teams, and I'm pretty sure that we're right, that we have likely the two strongest teams, and then the other two, our partners, are somewhere in the top 5 or 10 as well. So could be wrong, but I think everyone would agree that YUDZ and ACES are the two strongest in the game currently.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Love to see what the other teams are doing, but from past history, the name that has followed what we now know as ACES, definitely one of the top two teams. And YUDZ over the months, over the seasons has really become one of the biggest teams. So yes, I would agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just give a quick overview of how things started. Okay, so I mean, Maddox and Scar, correct me if I'm wrong, and I mean especially Turgon, he's been doing kept really good record of what things has been happening. But essentially, what happened was YUDZ. Okay, we started in this region here. Okay, of the Inedwaith and the White Mountains area. Okay, we started here, as you can see from my mouse. Lame started where it's all green now in this region. Actually, Lame started in Inedwaith, right? And yeah,
correct.
Exactly. We started down here by the White Mountains down here. Order and ACES started at the north in this region, where you can see, they got land over here, territories over here. Okay, so pretty far away. Essentially, what YUDZ did, we mirrored what ACES did. You guys started northeast, right? Kind of on this area.
Something like that. I'm still opening stream.
No worries. So Iron Hills area region, the wharf land. So we mirrored the opposite. So we started down here, and then Lame started up here, and then Order up northwest a little bit. Okay. So, I mean,
Turgon,
go ahead.
Turgon would be good to recap everything. He remembers everything exactly as it happened.
Yeah,
Who,
I
me?
don't have a good memory, so.
Definitely
Turgon can kind of narrate through up until now because he takes notes and spreadsheets and all that shit, man. He got it on.
I am a massive nerd.
Yeah, he know every single all that. Yeah, he own it. Nerd Fiesta right there. He own it.
I'll try to do like a 90-second summary if I can.
There you go. Yeah,
to help out. So like we started out, and everyone starts out kind of in the same with their starting region, and you can't escape your starting region until the chapter 4 passes unlock on day 5. So we were trapped in the White Mountains probably 48 hours into the season. There wasn't a single level 8 tile that was open anywhere in the White Mountains. And we are just chilling, waiting for those chapter 4 passes to open. And probably ACES were in the exact same boat because we were neck and neck in affluence through like the first what, 10 days of the season at least. We were
Yeah.
we were within 1/10 of a million for a long time. And then once those chapter 4 passes opened on day 5, then Lame and Order started fighting over in what is that, like Aregian Ariador, that area over there. And we busted through into southern Rovanian, and ACES started heading down towards Rune. And so that was where the first PvP happened, was right in that area that fellow is showing with Ariador. And ACES and YUDZ were locked out of being able to do any sort of fighting really at all until the chapter 6 passes opened on day 10. And when that happened, we had a big fun conflict over at the pass between Gorgoroth and Ashen Plains, which was a lot of fun.
Right here.
Yep. And then basically we just sat there and chilled for a little while, going back and forth. ACES would take the tunnel and we would push them back, and it was just kind of some back and forth there for a while, until the chapter 8 passes opened like 6 days later. And then in the meanwhile out west, Lame did a terrific job fighting and kind of cutting off Order from being able to get additional resources, and kind of just choked them out, so to speak. I think that's kind of probably the most reasonable language to use for what happened up there, and just gradually started, we started seeing some players from ACES trickling up there. So we started sending some players up there, and the things kind of just ended up as they were. And then once the chapter 8 passes opened on day 16, we went into Undeeps. Lame went into Lorien. ACES and Order went into Southern Anduin Vale. We had some big fights in Southern Anduin Vale, and we steadily pushed until we got to the passes. And fresh off the press this morning, we were able to secure the pass into Central Mirkwood. And that's your recap.
Yep.
How did we secure the pass into Central Mirkwood? Talk us through it.
Talk us through it, although it was recorded. So you guys later, probably not today, probably tomorrow, stay tuned for that video, because honestly, it was probably the best siege strategy that I've seen since 1.0. Early 1.0, honestly.
Bro, these passes are just straight cancer. Just straight cancer.
It's very easy to defend pass. Like you can see right now on Fellow's screen, the pass is located on the Central Mirkwood side of the river, and on the other side of the river is just a crossing. So the difference in the amount of defending armies and siege required to take a pass compared to the crossing is ridiculous. It's very easy to take a crossing. It's not very easy to take a pass, especially when all you have to do to defend that pass is click your defend button on any of the what is that, 6 surrounding tiles.
Yeah.
So our strategy was to create an enormous number of flying armies, and with coordinating with Lame, essentially the strategy was Lame attack the pass with ground forces and knock out the defenders. And then once the defenders are down, YUDZ go in with the Air Force and secure all 6 of the tiles around the pass, 2 of which had forts on them.
Yep.
You had to siege them down with eagles too. Just an enormous amount of eagles. Yep. And so once all 6 of those tiles were secured, then we could siege it down. And it was a hell of a battle.
It was probably, even I think for our rivals, I think it was probably one of those adrenaline moments where you're trying to. I don't remember having a moment like this since 1.0, where you're like, bro, you got a full send to the pass, because we got they basically blocked us off from being able to guard the pass now, because all 6 tiles now belong to YUDZ, and it'll take 5 minutes to take any of these tiles anyway. So it's huge.
Yep.
Huge.
So that was the strategy, and it was we picked a really good time, I think, and part of me feels almost a little guilty because probably Scar was asleep when we were hitting this, and probably
you
woke
don't
up
even
to
want to know what I woke up to. You buttheads.
I'm sorry.
I woke up early too. I was up early, and it was already done. That everything was said and done by the time I like rolled out of bed. I was like, "What the
Yeah.
frick?"
Yeah, it was honestly, it was pretty epic, and so luckily some of us were able to record bits and pieces, so we'll be able to do a commentary and just walk you guys through exactly, which is basically what Turgon did, but you guys be able to see that in action. So,
Well, there's really, when you got two strong teams, it's kind of impossible to get through a pass.
Yeah.
It's kind of impossible. There's no other way to do it except that way, really, I think.
We tested the waters a couple of times. Like we tried to snipe the Ashen Plains pass, and we just mistimed it by the time because it's like a 2-minute march over there, and by the time our siege all hit and was able to resend, there was 50k left after it hit, so they were just able to take it down, because it's the difference between sending one march in 2 minutes and sending one march in 17 seconds is, there's astronomical disparity there. And then we tried to take the other pass going into Gladden Fields last night or 2 nights ago or something like that. We didn't quite have the same preparation for that as we did for this, but it was a good learning experience for everyone. And about what we expected to happen, which we were able to knock out the defenders and take about 200,000 siege down, but without taking those surrounding tiles, it is very tactically advantageous for the defending side.
There was some beautiful strategy, Turgon. Huge shout out to Turgon and SPC Moon. Those two have been going on for hours getting this set up. So,
yeah, honestly, the strategy was 100% SPC Moons. He came up with the entire thing. So, like, huge shout out and kudos to his tremendous, like, he put a lot of thought and energy into that, and I just was a mouthpiece. So
it's good.
Gotta herd the cats, be a good project manager.
Yep. I mean that's part of driving the team. You can have as much strategy, but if you're not able to get everybody on board, everybody to get the notifications and know exactly what you're trying to do, it doesn't really matter. So
yep.
I
agree, 100%.
That's one of the struggles I've noticed the last 3 years playing the game is you might have a strategy, but a lot of times, a lot of cause different time zones, the game never sleeps. So a lot of people don't really get, either they don't check Discord, they don't check pins, but a lot of people end up not really knowing what's going on. So it takes a lot of multiple leaders and players to remind each other. So that was a huge effort. So I mean, remember Jack's pirate Aegis? Freaking
yeah.
Those nuts, Roram and
yeah,
all those guys.
Yep,
crazy.
They're all gone now. Not many left. This is what remaining pirates are still playing, at least in NRP, because there's some in RP. They're here in studs. Yeah, and they, like any pirate anywhere, is happy. Well, I think it's fair to say everybody on our side is happy with the way that things are going, but the pirates are especially happy from that season, with Gaia. ACES, of course, has some of the Gaia players. They're happy with the way things are going. So even the guys that aren't playing anymore are happy about it. It's been a long time coming that whoever's left from Pirates were able to match up with whoever's left to Gaia in a server again, because it's been quite a few seasons.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of stories about that season.
Oh,
it was designed to be, a 1v1 or whatever, and ended up being a whole server versus Pirates. So I'm not going to call it an outright ambush, but something like that.
Seems like ancient history now, because I remember just before that server happened, I was talking with Roram and Pride and other people about potentially doing a 4v4 with all the OME teams versus Yadu and Iron and
I remember that. Yeah,
Gaia was going to be the third team, and we just couldn't find a fourth team.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it's old news, you know.
Very old, very ancient history.
Yes, it is. Game changed so much, and so many people from back then aren't even here anymore. So
To me, 50% at least.
yeah,
At least.
What's up, Go? It's been a while, man. It's been good. Pretty good. Doing pretty well. Just trying to live out these last 5 days of these disgusting beard itching and stuff. But other than that, everything's pretty good. Oh, my Lord.
beards are hard, man. They're tough.
They are. I mean,
Hard to get used to.
it's
really difficult.
This has been 8-9 days since I haven't shaved, so hopefully in a week or so I can say who I'm.
I think
that.
it's a better look on you. I do. You can deal with it. I don't know if you can, but if you can, it looks better. I think.
I think I will. We'll see. My wife is like, I don't know if I want to. Like, well, I gotta try at least once. So.
yeah.
So we'll see. next week, you guys tell me.
You know, it's interesting. This server is because obviously you have what we think are the two strongest teams, but then you got the two other teams, Order and then Lame, right? And all of these, all this stuff all came together all at once, right? So Order, they did a merge, and I think Maddox here can talk about that better, but they did a merge and got their whole team together because we just saw them last season or whatever, and they're definitely different and a lot more players than they were. And then Lame, the same thing, right? Lame also did a merge with Iron, so that's Lame and Iron now. And in fact, some of us were talking with Order about them being our partner before all this came about. So a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts going on, but all these teams came together. Even ACES is not the same. They did a merge or an absorption of Guy and whoever else that they got, and then we also, we didn't do a merge, but every season there's turnover, and every season you got new players coming in, and we're stronger than we used to be because this is the first time we've met, right? Well, technically, it's the second time if you go back because YUDZ technically did fight ACES in a server, a big mega server, one that I believe I don't know who won. I think ACES or who won that server, Turcon.
There was no winner of that server.
Yep.
Meta and Chaos had Dolgoldor, but they didn't have the required number.
Oh, okay. So everybody got a gold
banner.
Nobody won that. Yeah, nobody won.
No one got a gold banner.
So there's an interesting backstory and history to all the players here and all the teams here, and technically this will be the second time we've met, but YUDZ and ACES are two different teams now. They're just two different teams. It's always changing every season, and I suspect this isn't going to be the last time we meet, and this might develop into an ongoing rivalry where we're meeting every couple of seasons, hopefully.
Might happen, yeah.
That would be cool.
Be like the old, dynasty rivalries and stuff like, basketball and stuff, and the Lakers and the Celtics and stuff like that turn into something like that maybe, because there's only so many teams that are, strong, and, there's only so much competition for teams. Once you get to a certain point and you're so strong, you kind of have to seek out competition every season to keep it competitive and fun and keep people active. So there's not a lot of people to choose from, or teams rather. So I suspect we'll be seeing more of each other in the future. All the teams here.
Yeah, most likely. Not sure. Just like you said, I'm not sure exactly how many new teams are actually coming up. So most likely gonna end up playing each other quite often. I hope not. I mean, I hope thinking the best is that there are more and more players coming in, and so as those teams merge, be able to create new teams that we can play against. But not sure.
The role play side of the game seems really like every server I see that's role play server is full. It blows me away.
Maybe that's all the new people.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, season 1 basically is role play, right? Good side role play. Kind
Yep.
of. Kind of. I mean, they kind of push you more on good side commanders, but it might be a little bit of both. I don't know. It's kind of excruciating to even try to like start a new account just to see what it is. It's just too much work. So
It's been a while since I've done an S1.
I try. I mean, I try every so often. I'm like, no, too much effort just to see what's like. So look who is in the house. We got Zane here, one of the OG pirate leaders. How you doing, Zane? Yeah, I mean, Zane, it is NRP, but kind of pushing you on mostly RP commanders. At least it was a few months ago. Pretty good, man. Doing pretty well. Staying busy as always, you know. All right, let's have a look, though. I think there are a couple of reports I want to have a look at. I just hit somebody just barely, and look at how much damage my Dane did. You know, this is one of those situations you're like, why is Dane doing so little damage? And a nice thing, I mean, there are a lot of good features that the devs have been implementing. I mean, this is my personal view. Okay, there are some really cool things, some very questionable things. Two being the amount of resources needed for, you know, if you get uprooted. I think it just sounds a little too much. But the other one is we haven't had this yet because our server started before the update. But people are talking about that whole what is it called, recuperation state, where if let's say I have my units here on Gilgal. Let's say I pull them back to my fort or my base, and I switch them out. These soldiers here, these units, will have to sit out for hours before I can use them again. And that's
that's not good.
Yeah, that's very silly.
That's not good.
Jax, I'm not even joking. It's like 5-6 hours that they have to wait. It's not like a few minutes.
That's really not good.
It's pretty ridiculous. So, I mean, hopefully there are a couple people putting suggestions out there. Hopefully they change that a little bit, remove that entirely. But it just feels like these are the kind of changes that don't make any sense. It makes you wonder, like, why are you trying to slow the game down even more? There are like just some really dumb mechanics. Look at this. MB said 2,000 horses, 12-hour recuperation. Like, they're just there. You're just switching them from one commander to the other. Bro. You just like
that's crazy.
How dumb does that sound?
That's gonna get changed.
Hopefully, yes.
That is ridiculous.
So,
a lot of people complaining about it.
A lot of people, yes. So luckily, at least for this season, we don't have that issue. But those are the two issues that I think are just really, really, just really stupid. The resources on the relocation and like having to, that's okay, I guess. But it also sounds like it's just a little too much, like 1 million plus resources for you to be able to rebuild your base. Or else you have to wait for, it's like a 72-hour cooldown as well if you don't have the resources, if I'm not mistaken. Something like 2 or 3 days you have to wait until your base auto like rebuilds. It has the resources itself to do it. So it's kind of ridiculous. But everything else, honestly, recently has been interesting. Some really nice updates. And so one of them, I do think it's pretty cool. Just going back to what I was saying about my report here, is that, there is one screen I wish they bring back, which is that summary of, how much damage your units did, like all together, how much damage you took and how much healing you did. I think you guys remember that screen. It used to be like the second screen from this one. They removed that and they added this one, which is also quite nice. You can see individually, which skill does more damage for your commander. And one cool thing that you can check, you by coming here, you see exactly who's attacking first now without having to scroll down and kind of make it out for yourself. So like in this case, my Dane went after Sauron, after the enemy Sauron. So most likely I got stunned in round 3 and potentially round 6. I'm not going to go through the report now, which caused my Dane to barely do any damage. So it's a, to kind of see if that's true, I can say I'm using a 1.0 gear with initiative, and a totals for 51 initiative for Dane and my Goat Riders. Then I look at his Sauron. He already has just here alone is 53. So that's already faster than me. And if you add the other 5 to Sauron and 5 to the units that they're going to get from agility here, that puts him way above what my Dane is able to put out. So definitely makes sense for me to have been stunned by Sauron in this case. But still did pretty well, considering that I'm running 1 damage dealer essentially. Not too bad. Testing this out. I want to test something out later too, but by the time we end the season, which is still like a month away. So
what made you go to Gala, Vessi?
I mean, since 1.0, Jax, I never resetted her. I reset a few others. Like Gil Gala was one that was, I think it was like Z1 or Z2. I brought him down to R10 because essentially as a support commander, unless it's like Gala where she really shines, she's high investment. But a lot of commanders like Sauron, you only really need him at R4, to unlock his R4 tree.
There's some interesting choices for the unique formation award at the end of the season.
Yes, there are. So keep tabs on that. But yeah,
we also gotta figure out how to do. We got to figure out how to incorporate ACES because they do their own awards, right? We got to do their awards the same time we do the season awards, right? Because I want to have them on it. Yep. We got to get with Scar and those guys and have it all at the same time.
Award ceremony. Ours is a lot of silliness, but
yeah, that's fine. We want to do it on the stream, like I think we talked about this before, but we'll do it at the same time. Yeah, we'll do it all at once.
We do like a performance kind of thing. Like we have an announcer, like an MC.
Yeah, we love that. We need more of that, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something about joints. I like joints.
Yeah.
I'll bring one just for that. Don't worry.
Sweet.
She is in San Francisco.
We got a quiet listener here in the chat, Jax. We got Lonely here.
Who's that?
Lonely's in the house.
Oh, okay. Lonely, yeah. He probably the strongest player on the whole server, and maybe the game. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot out of
probably the game because Dark will literally say pick a commander, any commander, and you just say one, and he's like, okay, I'll get it max level for you.
Oh yeah, I already know. Yeah, he got anything and everything as far as
who does that?
Respect and items. Anything you want, he just boom, there it is.
Dark, aka Lonely.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's a battle between Lonely and Uber at this point.
Nah. Lonely would take him out. Yeah. I told him already. We're gonna have because it's been a long time I ain't seen him. Right. I've never been able to get in a season with Lonely, but I told him we're gonna have our 1v1 at the end of the season. See what happens because he's on my list. There ain't many people left. Ain't many people left on my list.
That action as well. I have to 1v1 Lonely before the end of the season.
Yeah. There you go. So we're gonna have to. That's gonna have to happen. There's only like 4 or 5 guys left on my list from however many seasons it is.
I mean, it might be good. He's one of them. It might be good to set up a specific time where you guys all have full stamina in the same place and can live stream that.
Yeah. We will. We'll do something like that. Yeah.
He's thick.
Whenever somebody
has a good report against Lonely, it gets shared. That's for sure.
Yeah. But see, Lonely, he can run anything he wants and as much as he wants. So I'm gonna have to see what he does when we do our 1v1 because if he come out there with 1 or 2 formations, he'll lose, right? But I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll load up. So,
all right, I'm gonna have to to set that one up. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, Lonely and Matt and G Unit Wrath, that'd be a great one too. Because, got to see that.
Let's see. We got Kyle. Okay, there you go. We got Kyle. I mean, Kyle here still beating the bush on.
He's still running Thorn and Helm now
on his troop formation, man. He's gonna. Yeah. Kyle's gonna die on this hill.
He's a
believer, man. He's a believer, just like Glenn. Just like Glenn.
He's just.
Go ahead.
Yeah. He's that. He got that YOLO life. He just don't care. Don't care.
It's fun. I love seeing this. I love
Me too. He swapped
Oh.
out Helm. He swapped out Gilgalad. Gilgalad was in Helm's, but he's gonna try and make Helm work some way somehow. But I think Azog is maybe better than Helm.
Who wrote? Give me a sec.
Why not both?
I mean, look at this. Okay, I think there is a place for Thorn. A KVN Duck. We've been talking about Thorn, and I do have hopes for Thorn. It's just you have to be. You just kind of look where he will most likely fit. Look at this report.
Yeah.
Morgan, look at this.
Yeah. Thorn can put out some damage.
86,000 damage is definitely not
Yeah.
bad. Look at this. Pretty nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So
he can definitely do some damage.
He might not be, the biggest commander in the game, but look at it. He took out Morgan, who runs a pretty nice formation. He also took
does.
Cimarino. I mean, he took 3 formations out. This is pretty sick, honestly.
Yeah, it is.
Obviously a bit heavy on the resources for troops, but then again, guys,
Who cares?
this is the kind of thing you have to consider when you're playing this game. It's if you're running a commander that has some kind of weakness, you have to make up for that in some way or another. So, it's something you have to learn to deal with. Honestly, let's see. He has another one versus Kevin here. Look at that, not too bad. 83K taken out. Look at this. Z9, Dane, R11, Sauron.
It's very nice.
It's a nice result for him here, and the fact that you can run, help. And if you don't want to run, if you haven't invested on Evo side, for example, the account that I run doesn't have Saruman. It's R0, and also I don't have Undying for the different type of evasion. This. He's pretty decent at removing White Council. So the nice thing about this, something you guys have taken into consideration, which is different from Shadow. Okay, Shadow's ability to strip White Council suffers because if your enemy is running Swanites, all those attacks go to the Swanites. Now the nice thing about his R4 is that this is not a normal attack. This is actually a skill. So it will go to different armies, to different formations. So it's definitely a nice use of Thorn. So we'll see. I'll probably be running him on some tests by the end of the season. We'll stream that as well. Okay, let's see what I got here. Where am I? Okay, so I'm sitting here. I gotta hit somebody.
So, what are your thoughts? Who's here? Scar and Maddox. We got the leaders of both who were fighting. The two groups were fighting. We got one of the leaders of YUDZ here. We don't have a lame rep, but what does everybody think one by one about the season? Your expectations coming in, how things have played out and transpired thus far. What are your thoughts? Go one by one. We'll start with Maddox.
I think it's a good season in general. A lot of people are very active on all sides. That's for sure. I will say we made it a little bit more difficult for ACES to have an even fight. Simply because we had roughly 20 to 25 people who didn't really, were basically AFK, right? So this put a lot of pressure in the early game on the resources of the people who were very active and fighting lame. And as you said in the recap, then ACES had to send some people over as well, right? So, I mean, this game is pretty snowbally. So the team that gets the ball kicking first is usually the team that does well. However, I will say our activity has not dropped now. The people who have played at the start are still playing. I saw that I think Lame attempted our pass 2 days ago or something. Maybe there were some YUDZ players there as well. I mean, the pass in Gladden Fields. And we did defend it one time so far. So I think recently we've been doing okay, and my players are enjoying the season, so that's good, right? We'll try our best to be as annoying as possible, to push at points where there are not too many opponents. I mean, we also have some accounts that are trading very well, right? The Pride, the Sloth, the Envy. I myself am not doing too bad, so yeah.
Come on, man.
Like I
The
said,
accounts you just mentioned are like the biggest accounts on your team.
yeah, that's right. Actually, the OG Matix account is also not doing too poorly.
It's true. It's pretty good, yeah.
I saw Rune has been doing pretty well against Lame, and again, that's just a sign. You know, if you have some of the good commanders at R10 with pretty decent gold gear, you can do well in the fights, right? You don't really need
100%.
that Zenith 10 plus commander stuff anymore.
R10 commanders, well put, with watching who you're attacking, using the unit counter to your advantage will get you a lot of wins. Let me. So I don't know what he did. Okay, I don't know what he did to get highest merit right now. A lot of people talking about in World Chat earlier today about Rocky. Right, like, oh, Rocky is doing this. Rocky every season is top merit. He's very active, but this is a pretty good example of.
Rocky, just to clarify, yes, great player, love the guy. He's very active, 24/7 fighting, but he also normally supplements by going, dropping guild and fighting, and Alder, his friends, they do that. I don't think he's doing it this season, and yet he's still whatever top merit or 1 or 2.
Exactly.
But he does do that. So he's
doing something.
Yeah, he doesn't just. I don't know about this season, but I have seen in previous seasons that he will drop guild and he will fight either alt or his own friends to increase his merit, and probably doesn't care about the merit. Well, maybe some, but I think he more cares about the leveling. But he does do that, just so everyone is aware. He's not just fighting all the time, and here we are, even though that may be the case this season. So it's kind of like contrary to what I'm telling you, but I have seen that in the past myself.
Yes, this season he was pretty clear. He said he hasn't XP farmed, and yet he's still top merit. And I mean, I think
he doesn't have like the strongest A team or something, and he doesn't.
No,
I don't even think he has.
I mean, look at this.
But
R12,
but he's just so active.
R12 Bjorn, okay. R8 Sauron, Z2 Dane, and R12 Gandalf the White. So you can see with the team, the only Z that he has is Dane. Okay, and so you can do well versus bigger accounts if you just do your thing right. So
he reminds me of a player on Null and Void. I don't even know if that's still their name or whatever, but this guy would run the Crushers, right? And he kind of the same strength as Rocky. Forgetting his name, starts with a G. But this guy would fight nonstop all day long. Like, I'm talking about there's zero stamina left all day. Probably with a pilot also when he sleeps. But just running Crushers and lose about, 40% of the time. But get so much PvP, be on top of the boards. Anyway, who's next? Turgon or Scar? One of you guys go and answer my question.
I just jumped back in, so I need to be refreshed on what the question is.
Question is, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the season thus far? What did you think as far as expectations versus reality, how things have played out? Your general thoughts to this point on how the season has gone.
Did Maddox, did you already talk? I missed you.
Yeah, he did.
Was the first one.
Okay, yeah. So probably Maddox probably touched on how we feel too. I mean, the season's not, living up to the expectations. We had a long wait period before the season started. I don't know, about 2 months or so. So I think a lot of people kind of got a little bit bored and decided they no longer want to play the game. which, you know, it happens, especially when people get breaks during the holidays. So, we didn't come in as bolsterous as we would hope so, but we had pretty strong activity in the beginning of the season. I mean, our keeps, we had like 80 people showing up for a key pet at a random time. So that's great, you know. And we still have no technical inactives on the team. It's been a little chaotic for sure. And we've lost a lot of ground, but that's not stopping us. And I think that we're hoping that we can just keep the fighting going and look for some new opportunities. I know Ergon's been involved in some conversations, Maddox and I, you know, just putting our heads together and seeing what we can do to keep the fun going. I know I'm here for a good time, and I don't really care win or lose what happens. I just want to play. And I think that a lot of people kind of share that sentiment. I know some people don't share that sentiment, of course. There's always those people. But I think that a lot of people are just here for some fun, because this game, you know, it has its waves of good and bad, and
Yeah.
a lot of people are feeling like this is kind of a last hurrah, maybe, before calling it quits. So hoping that we can go out with a bang and have a good time.
Is it the
Yeah,
same
well
for
put.
you though, or are we gonna get to see more of Scar in Rise to War?
You know, that's to be decided. We'll see. We'll see. I always threaten that I'm gonna quit if we don't get something, and then I've never actually quit. So I'm like, I'm quitting if I don't get vouchers. No vouchers, and I'm still here. That was like 6 months ago. So you know, I quit when I quit. We'll see if that day ever happens. But I'm here, and I'm fully active and ready to go. So I hope we're giving you a little bit of action for your streaming game right now as well.
No, it is. I mean, my gala I hit 2 armies, so I'm recuperating my 10-minute cooldown. I'll be out again.
Good. Yeah, I just sent out again too.
So not bad.
All right, Turgon.
Yeah, I think the timing of this stream is perfect because I just realized that I don't need to do a video today. Usually I would do a 3-week update, but I think this suffices perfectly. Today is exactly 3 weeks since the season began.
Yep.
3 weeks in about 13 hours now. And you know, there's a couple of different perspectives on how I feel about the season. Like from a people perspective, like all the people involved, it's been great. I think the collaboration and the preparation and the planning has been good. I appreciate ACES waiting all that time in Bag End. That's not exactly how we would have wanted to draw it up. But I appreciate your patience and being here. And it's been a hell of a season. You guys are like insane fighters, and nothing but like total respect for everything that's going on. But from like a system perspective, a technical perspective, like the way that the game has been evolved from the developers, where like there was no PvP for us until 10 days into the season. That's boring. It's just going from farming one area to farming another area and not being able to really PvP at all, and just waiting and waiting and waiting to finally fight ACES, even though we're on the same server for 10 days. It's a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
And now here we are finally 3 weeks into the season, and we've really kind of hit that like almost like climax in a way where the battle is like reached a fever pitch. Has been really nice. It's been exciting, and hopefully we can have more big battles like this, you know, the rest of the way. That's kind of overall my take on how everything's been. Like, I think from a people perspective, it's been great, and you know exactly what Maddox said. Like, snowballing in this game is really real, and it impacts a lot of how things go in terms of like determining what's going to happen with the season, and that impacts activity, and the game is all about activity. I mean, if you've got 200 players, you know, that are raring to go, and the other side has 105, that 65 player gap is going to be impactful. It's going to be significant. And as good as the 135 may be, you just have less tools to be able to work with to be able to counter what the other side is doing. So like a big part of for every team in every season on every server is understanding what you have to work with and understanding what your opposition is working with, and kind of like understanding the lay of the land and being able to like maximize how much you can get out of it, because there's a lot of teams out there that play this game just purely, I want rings after rings after rings. I don't care how easy or how hard it is. And like the thing that I appreciate about all the teams on this server is like we're all fighters. We all are competitors. We want to win. Everyone wants the ring. That's natural. But I think the way that different teams go about doing it really matters in this game. And having a group of teams that like loves the fighting and has no quit attitude, that's really what you're looking for, server over server.
I think everybody can agree with you 100%. I think one other issue from what you said, Turgon. Look at that. We got Roram in the house. But for anyone that doesn't know, the guy that just commented, OMG, I love Turgon, it's Logan Gray. That is Roram, if you guys don't know that. One other thing that would I add on to what your comment is, I 100% agree. The other thing would be not just the fact that we had to wait basically 10 days to get to PvP, it's just the progression for anything is also very slow, right? So you can't really get to these areas, central areas, until 2 weeks into the season. But also we were stuck in our own spawn area for so long. You couldn't really go anywhere for so many days. Everybody's kind of like, hey, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? You couldn't, because they put passes in basically every area that doesn't open until a specific time. And so your growth always gets hindered.
The tiles are gone very quickly in the starting regions.
Sorry?
The tiles are gone very quickly in the starting regions.
Extremely quickly,
right?
especially in teams like ours. Especially in teams like ours, it just, if you're not on quick, yeah, you're gonna fall behind in resources. And obviously later in the season, the resources, as long as your starting areas are not getting taken away and your tiles aren't going quickly, you can balance out the need for resources. But then, by the time somebody already has T4 units and full barracks and all these things, and commanders 3, 4, 5 levels above you, you're gonna be behind in your buildings, in your units, and everything just kind of. If too many players in your team have that issue, then that also hinders your performance in PvP. So I think that's probably one of the biggest frustrations that I have right now, is how much they are slowing down the game, and not just with passes. It's just little by little, all these different things, the passes, but also now with the whole recuperation thing, the tile, the 5-minute tile timer. The way that they locked your gear, that it only unlocks as you gain more levels, all these little things that just forces you to wait more now.
I think there's different ways they could go about, like there used to be so many different campaigns that you could pick and so many different options, and now like there's so little. And like they could do things like, if they want to roll out this stuff because it's supposed to help like newer, smaller players, like they could create different ways so that like big thick teams like all of our teams on this server and other servers, like you look at the Bear server with DK and Toby and Wind and all of them, like there are a lot of thick teams still out there, and it just doesn't seem like they care about us at all. And there's like, I don't know who they're trying to cater to, but it's very clearly not us.
To the big teams. It's weird. It's very off. I don't know. What about you, Jax? What's your takeaway of the season so far?
Well, I think not only speaking for myself, but for probably most of the team in YUDZ and Lame and Iron, that we're happy with what's taken place, what's transpired, what's gone down, and we're enjoying it. We're enjoying the fights. These are especially hard fights because probably, I don't know, I'm going to say 70% of all players in the 4 major teams are just, anytime you hit something, it's everybody's got all gold, right? Everybody's using, for the most part, the meta formations, the top whatever 3 or 4, however many meta formations there is now. So it's very, very difficult, and that's enjoyable for guys on our team. And, you know, winning and losing probably 50-50 for all the fights on both sides. You know, you win half, you lose half, something like that, except the biggest Krakens or whatever are winning more than they're losing. But I just say everyone's pretty happy in general, not only myself, but everybody in YUDZ, everybody in Lane. And it sounds like, you know, from the other side too, ORDR and ACES, those guys are happy to have a hard season, a season full of fighting, and an active season. So just generally, we're pleased with the results. We're pleased with the server, the way it's going. We're happy to have the opponents we have, and we're just enjoying the shit out of it, really.
Yep. It's been a good season. Like I said earlier, I just hope that we're able to have more diversity in team. Obviously, this is a staged fight, so I just hope that there are enough teams in the future of the game that we can have, you know, just random fighting instead of having to stage stuff. That's just my only, you know, hope for the future. The other concern that I have, it's this here. This is also one of the reasons why I'm running Gala. But if you look at some of the reports we share, quite often you're gonna see the same little faces pop up here. Look at this. You're gonna have a mirror match, most likely a mirror match, almost a mirror match. Oh, that's Kyle, so you can't really say that one. But everyone else, most of the time, you're gonna see this. Okay, basically a mirror match, and that's you know, the lack of, you know, of and this is why I love seeing things like this. I mean, Jack's been doing this for, like, I don't know, maybe since the game started, but at least since NRP for at least 4 or 5 seasons now, where he just tries different things. It's nice to see things like this because, one reason why is because most of the new findings that you see me putting out there, any other content creator, anybody else talking about them in any Discord, most of the time is because somebody like Jax, like Kyle, tried something different and it worked. Yeah. Because
and you know,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm gonna be long-winded, so finish.
Oh no, it's just, so what I was saying is just, it's a lot of times people just like, oh no, this commander is trash. This commander is trash, because I mean, you look at the skills, it might look that way, but I found different, you know, settings where certain builds actually work amazingly well. They do. I mean, obviously they don't become meta, but they are able to be slotted in different positions where they can still compete and people can have fun. At the end of the day, you want to have fun playing the commanders you enjoy. You know, for example, you guys, if you watch my previous live streams and videos, you will see a few months back, I was always running Falcon. I love running Falcon, different commander, it's fun to, you know, to use. But with the Saruman meta, it makes it very hard for me to run Falcon, because unless I'm running Undying, and I don't have Undying. So, you know, running Saruman just wipes the floor with the damage reduction that Falcon can provide. So he's been on the bench for now. Hopefully that comes back. But it's just, you know, I love seeing things like these guys do, because it just allows us to have more variety. And right now, it's basically like it's like 6 commanders that everybody runs, because that's essentially what you need to be competitive. Go ahead, Jax.
Yeah, I've had several questions from people both in the season and in various Discord servers about, why do I use what I use? Why do I run 3 or 4 formations? Why do I use this commander? Why don't I just make this one meta team, A team, whatever?
About that. Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, just several questions, and I
How
said,
do you run 4 formations? That's what I
yeah,
saw
just
that
a bunch of
everywhere.
questions about what are you doing? Like, who the fuck do what the fuck are you doing, right? So I said to most of them, like, look, I'll try and answer this on stream. And there's a short answer and there's a long answer for why am I using 3 or 4 this season, 4 formations? Why are you using those combinations, et cetera, et cetera? Main reason is boredom. Okay. I don't want to trot out whatever Gandalf the White, Sauron, Gil, Dane, Bjorn, whoever, right? And just do that 24/7 after how many seasons has it been, bro? 18, 19, 20? I don't even know. I don't want to do that. That to me is boring. I need a challenge in all things. In life in general, I need challenges. Yeah. I need to, master things. I need to figure out things and master them. That's just who I am personally. And all, in the framework of life in general, that's how I think and operate. So boredom would be the first answer. And, secondly would be it's effective. It projects power. It allows, the ability to do more in the game on the battlefield than just running one formation. You're able to do more just because you have more to work with, right? You only have 200 stamina for an A team or one team that you can use. And then after that, well, you're just sitting there. I mean, yeah, you can go tile or whatever. And I do. But I want to fight and I want to, try different things and I want to make things work. And are all of my 4 formations that I use the best? Absolutely not. Any one of the 4 formations that I use will likely have a difficult time fighting, a Mega Kraken's A team, main team. But if I can somewhat equally draw with any of those formations, or at least 3 of those 4 formations, because the 4th is a troop damage formation, and that's going to get wrecked by the meta all day long. But if 3 of my 4 formations can somewhat equally draw with just about anybody in the game, then I'm happy. Yep. I'm happy. I don't need to outright win every fight, as far as one formation versus one formation, because if, let's say, the B team can fight someone's A team and they can draw, well, guess who's standing on the same tile ready to hit guard to finish that draw? The C team or the D team or the A team, whatever, right? Doesn't matter. And then now I've won that fight. I've removed whoever that player is from the engagement for at least 8 minutes, and another 2 minutes you figure to walk back, so 10 minutes, and they have to waste the stamina for both, right? If they, to restock, reinforce, and march back, whatever. So effectiveness and boredom would be the main 2 answers. And then the third is just I enjoy doing what I'm doing and I have fun with it. Exactly. I don't need to create one great whatever and just stomp, or probably still draw against the best of the best, because it's a bunch of draws out here and those are frustrating. I don't need to do that. I've done that. Probably anybody in my case has done the same. They've created this mega super A team and stomped people out way back when in 1.0 or whatever, right? I've already done that. That's already, been there, done that, went back for seconds. So that's what I enjoy doing. That's why I do it. Now, other questions are like, well, how do you sustain that? How are you able to keep troops? Well, sheer ingenuity is the short answer. You really got to, manage your barracks, pick your fights, watch your stamina, more than you would just running one team and using one type of troop, because I don't use just whatever guardians. I use several different things and switch things out all the time, and switch formations and gear and commanders out all the time too, so you just gotta, you gotta be patient, you gotta be diligent, you gotta be disciplined, it's taken a lot of practice to be able to sustain my barracks, sustain my, commanders and fighting and all of that in one. And through practice and doing this several seasons now, I'm able to sustain, for the most part, in any engagement. whether it be a really difficult situation, whatever, a long fight, I can sustain most of the time. There are some times when it gets so hectic I cannot, and in that case, what I do is I downsize. So instead of using 4, because my barracks is at whatever 50%. Well, normally when my barracks is at 50%, I just stop fighting in general. I've always been that way. I don't go down to like 10% or 5% of barracks left. No. What I'll do when the situation gets dire, though, is I will not use 4. I will go from 4 to 3, and I'll check my barracks. I'll check my troop levels, whatever. If that is not working, I cannot sustain 3. I'll go from 3 to 2. If that is not working, so on and so forth, I'll go to 1 formation to be able to sustain that 1 formation and the troops needed to run it. So that's kind of hopefully the answers to everybody's questions. And again, is any of my teams as good as some super whaled Kraken's A team? No, it's not. It's probably lesser. And I've only been in NRP, whatever, three seasons or something. So all of my good commanders are somewhat fresh and new. They've somewhat caught up as far as gear and respect, but they're still not going to be the same as some guy who's been playing NRP since season 4, whatever his A team is. No. But if I have 2 teams that are great, they're not super, they're not S tier, but they're A, and I'm going to fight your 1 super S tier, you're still going to lose because it's 2v1. You follow me?
Yep. Yes, sir.
But yeah, that's
that recuperation is going to probably impact you if you need to swap around troops at all, and then your commanders are on recuperation for 6 hours. That's going to be a real headache.
I doubt that lasts very long. If what we're hearing, fellow has told us is the case, I don't know how you're going to get by having some 12-hour downtime anytime you get in a fight on your troops. That just seems silly.
I hope it doesn't last.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. If that the next season we go in and you're waiting freaking whatever half a day, I'm not going to be able to do the same things, obviously. So we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, I hope it changes. Honestly, imagine. I mean, somebody just posted. Let me see who posted here in our hangout in my Discord. King. I mean, yeah, the guy that was MB that mentioned the comment earlier. He showed us a screenshot. He has 4,200 units in recuperation. That's 500 knights, 1,600 bow knights, and 102 another 102 bow knights. 12 hours recuperation. That's stupid. I mean, can you?
Unbelievable.
Can you? The question is, can you speed it up? I don't think you can. And it's something you can't. You can't
that's just
speed
silly.
it up with gems and stuff. That's at least.
No,
that's
you
what it looks
can't.
like.
You can't.
You can't. So you are forced to wait.
That's ridiculous. Who's going to do that?
Imagine
Who is going to do that?
Somebody that just put
Who is going to
thousands
do
and
that?
thousands to this game. It's like, yep. Let's just wait now for 12 hours.
So what? Like everybody fights for an hour, and then because of this, everybody sits out for 12?
You mean that means if you're let's say right, you early game, you hit the day 2, day 3, you're hitting 130 tiles, and you're like, okay, I wasted stamina on this guy. Let me switch the troops to somebody else. You have those 12-hour recuperation now.
Yeah, it's faster if you wait for new troops, is what someone told me.
Yeah. I mean, it does sound faster. You just wait for train new troops. It's a couple of hours to train, at least early game, troops. So it just sounds very off, this whole idea of recuperation.
Some of these ideas that they implement, like you just wonder what kind of sessions that they had. Like, who thought this was a good idea? Like,
I know.
It's just not very well fleshed out. Like, they didn't think through the details at all, and then they implement it, and there's an uproar, and then we go back to the whole, they don't really care about our feedbacks, and here we are.
But then again, there's a flip side to that, right? Because while you're right, 100%, like, where the fuck did this seem like a good idea come from? They've always implemented changes over time to make the game better. So it's just a weird dynamic. It really is. And I don't understand.
I agree with you there. It's like if they're just making dumb decisions, like because they don't care, you just just some really crazy stuff happening. It's the last 4 or 5 weeks besides this week, the previous weeks, there was at least one idea that they implemented that sounded pretty good, like this one, right? The save gear one. Sounds okay, but it's definitely not useful as people kind of thought it was going to be. Kind of, you save your gear and it swaps automatically from the commander. If it's equipped, it auto unswaps to somebody else. It doesn't do that. So they seem to be bringing in some interesting ideas. But some of the other ones, just like who gave you the idea to block every single region with passes? Why? Why are you making our already trained troops that we taken hours to already train them? Now they gotta recuperate, which takes more time than training brand new troops. It's just like little things like these that really make no sense. Like where are they coming from? What's the thought and process behind this whole idea? So
the order is also very odd sometimes because, for example, they said, okay, you are no longer allowed to switch gear outside of any structures, and then a few weeks later, oh, here is a tool for you to swap gear quickly. It doesn't. This is a weird order to do things, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
And piggybacking on that, like, what's the purpose of changing gear? Usually, it's because you change your troops. So if you're going to change your troops, you got to wait 12 hours. So like, why? I could just do it manually. I could take 12 hours to change my gear one by one.
Exactly. I have plenty of time to tap on 4 pieces of gear in 12 hours. Plenty of time. So
I was really happy with that change they did, that you can't swap out gear unless you're in a fort or whatever, because I don't fucking swap gear, and I love that. And it used to be such a problem when people would be just running out team after team after team and swapping gear. It's kind of very annoying.
It's very easy because you can just send a scout, hit it, see what they run, switch the gear really quick, and you basically you counter them with a piece of gear, kind of like 1.0. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So
I was happy when they did that.
Yeah.
That slowed that shit right down.
That is a change that definitely changes what we do, but definitely not one of the worst ones. I think it definitely helps people with limited options to not get as wiped as people with a lot more options in terms of gear, especially if you haven't changed, if you kept a lot of your 1.0 gear, wink wink CLF. I think he's kept every single one of them.
Dude, that dude
and just bought more.
Insane. He's insane. He's got everything.
He's got everything, at least one of everything in 1.0 from 1.0. So,
yeah.
Oh, look, 2 steps is in the house. It's been a while, brother. So, yeah, so I think that's definitely a change that is definitely okay. It doesn't bother me. Honestly, the pet peeve that I still have with the game, I mean, how do you guys in the chat and you guys here feel about this? The timer on the tiles. I used to love tile warfare. Back in 1.0, you had a lot more commanders to do this as well. I used to love, but at the same time, I don't know if you guys would agree that a team that has the momentum at that time will just clean all the tiles. I think do you guys feel that the passes and the timers have given teams that are getting pushed back a little bit of a like some in a way some help to fight back? What do you guys think?
I personally think, okay, if we don't take our server as an example, because I mean, to be honest, most other teams that play this game, they're not necessarily like on the YUDZ or ACES level, right? And so what I think is, it's not really slowing the game down, because the resources that you need, they are in the contested regions, which open really early, and none of the average teams or teams which only have like a few top accounts will be able to keep those resources if they are getting pushed by a team that has a lot of Krakens, right? So you're not really slowing the game down at that stage. in the medium stages, I could see how the really big passes in the middle, they are hard to push, right? You need a lot of strategy and preparation time and resources to do that successfully. So at that point, you can defend the middle, but the process of getting to the middle for most teams, I don't think like the passes at the start slow the big teams down enough to achieve that. So it doesn't really make sense to me.
Good
Yeah,
points.
I think it just creates bottlenecks where big teams just like like it's almost like clogging a tea kettle, and you just create all this pressure, and then once the pass opens, we just release, and it doesn't really overall when you look at like day one to to the end of a season, for big teams like YUDZ and ACES and ORDR, like big teams like us and Lame, it doesn't do anything to us other than just give us pockets of complete boredom. Like it doesn't there's no purpose for us whatsoever. It doesn't do anything to stop us. All it does is frustrate us, and it just there
Yep.
needs to be different servers where this stuff doesn't exist, because our teams are so thick and so active and so fast and eat everything so quickly. Like it just doesn't work for us. For some of the newer, younger, like for RP and smaller teams, like less competitive elite teams, it probably helps promote some balance. I could see use cases for that, but when you're looking at the top teams in the game, it's just a huge inconvenience, and that's all it is. It just prolongs not being able to PvP, or it condenses PvP, because you can do some PvP after the chapter 4 pass is open in select regions depending on where you spawn, like quadrants I like to call them. There's like basically like 3 quadrants now around the map between the northeast, the southeast, and the west, and you can do some PvP in those areas. And then once the chapter 6 pass is open, that's kind of opens up the whole like donut around the whole map, and excludes everyone from the core. And I think on some servers it's probably great, but like for for our 4 teams, and if we had 4 more teams like us, like if we could get 8 really big teams together, it might be better, because then we'll have more PvP in those early stages, because there'll be more big teams to fight with, but then there'll be resource restrictions. So like there's just
Exactly. Yeah.
vast pockets of land where there's just like pools of level 1 tiles sitting there. Like put resources there. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's basically it's just a nuisance for the large teams, and it doesn't help the small teams, right? So no one really benefits from this. Yeah.
There was a survey recently that went out. We were just chatting about it before the stream started, and they asked, what would you do better? And my comments straight up was bring back 1.0, because it's a better product than this.
I think everybody would agree on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Man, if there's any way that could happen, imagine.
It'd be amazing, but yeah, that ship's undoubtedly sailed.
Yeah. I mean, it's in Valor already. It's all the way. It's very, very far to the west. I don't know.
Hey, Kurgon, what are you guys all talking about for future seasons? Getting a mega server together. What's going on with that?
So we're just kind of starting exploring that, quite honestly, and I haven't honestly talked with anyone on the current server. So obviously everyone like Maddox and Scar are going to be like, oh, I haven't heard anything about this, and not even Lame. We haven't even talked about it with our partner, but I have explored, just to see if anyone is interested. And I haven't gotten a tremendous amount of feedback yet. So it's very early in the exploration phase, and ultimately probably what's going to end up happening, because so many big teams are on conflicting cycles. Like the Bear server is going to be done in a couple of weeks, and we're not going to be done for like a month.
Yeah.
So if we're going to do a big server, someone's going to have to wait, and probably us. Probably us a lot, and some others a little. Some others maybe a lot, even more than us. I think what we need to really do is start talking with the different leaders with bigger teams around the game. ACES, ORDR, Lame, YUDZ, Gods, Toby, Bear, DK, just to name a handful off the top of my head, and let's get everyone to the table, see who's interested. And I really loved Senko had a great idea in the ranked server a couple of months ago where we get all these teams together that are willing to participate, and we queue for random spawn region. So you completely remove preseason alliances and planning out of the equation altogether, and just you wait until day one to see how the cards get dealt. You could have a partner, you could not have a partner, depending on how many teams there are and where you get placed, and just see where the game puts everyone and go from there. And I really like that idea quite a lot. I think it adds a little bit of surprise and spice to a game that is very much dominated by preseason planning. So
yeah, I like that.
That's what I would love to see happen.
Sorry, Turgon, can you repeat what's the idea? Sorry.
So get a bunch of teams to the table. Let's say 8 teams, 8 big teams, good teams, strong teams, active teams, and sign up for a server, but don't pick a spawn. You can pick a random spawn.
Yep, that'd be interesting.
So don't pick like Enidwaith or Darklands or anything. Pick random spawn. Everyone picks random spawn. No one queues hidden. Everyone can see what everyone's doing. Everything is transparent. There's no funny stuff happening, and just let the cards, be dealt however they are.
I like
that.
it.
Would be fun. I think that would probably bring some of the most dynamic servers that you can find. I don't know how the server with DK is, how it was set up, but it seems that server was pretty fluid, pretty organic. I think according to I was talking to King Under the Mountain, he said there was no planning for that. So trying to have a server like that, I think that would be pretty awesome.
I agree. Yeah, we should do that.
I mean, ideally, even more. I mean, how many teams can fit in a server? Do you
know? Probably 250, somewhere between 250 to 300 per spawn region. And there's like let's see, there's Gundabad, Erebor, Rune, Mordor, Gondor, Rohan, Isengard, which is Enidwaith,
Angmar,
Blue Mountains, and Angmar. So that's 9. There's 9 spawn regions.
Can you imagine that? I mean, if we can fit more teams, that would be even better.
Minimally, we're looking at 1,800 players, probably 2,000, up to 2,000 possibly.
That would be awesome. If we can get teams to set up something like that, that'd probably be one of the most epic servers in 2.0.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think everybody would want to see something like this.
In the absence of a matchmaking system, I think that that's probably the best thing that we could do for the game, because it's going to give all the top tier teams something really fun and interesting and unique and competitive to do. And it's going to take us out of the pool so that we're not crushing all these younger teams and younger players that are just getting started and learning about the game and trying to develop, so that then, because all we do is show up and crush them, and then they don't want to play the game, and it's not good for the game.
I think it will bring the spirit of what we used to feel like 1.0 felt in the early seasons. You remember your team going in, and you find out there's a random team close to you, and you try to convince them to help you, and you don't know what they're gonna do. And there's multiple teams trying to win the ring, because it was faction based back in the day, remember? And so you can have just a random team of like 40 players being a nuisance to your progress, because they're not aligned. It's not, because most of the servers nowadays is basically one team versus one team. At the end of the day, it's one team versus one team, one kingdom versus one kingdom. Everybody else is basically collateral damage. Being able to bring in a lot more teams into one random server brings that dynamic feel like, geez, what are the guys in Mordor gonna do? You know, everybody tries to win them over like we used to in 1.0, early stages of 1.0. Like, hey, bro, we'll let you get this capital, and then they're gonna go to your rival, say, yeah, but they said this. What can you give me? And so it brings this dynamic feel like you have no idea what's gonna happen. You have no clue, literally, if who is gonna win, because there's so many different teams.
Keep it honorable, though. You know, don't stack.
Oh, of course. But you know what I mean by this is, keep things as organic and natural as possible. And I think it's gonna bring that feel like we used to have in 1.0. Like, man, like what's going on? Where right now essentially it's us winning or aces. It's us and lane winning or aces and order winning. It's just those two outcomes. But if you have 8-10 teams there and then some smaller ones, you're like there's 10 possible winners here. And I think everybody's gonna want to win. And so it just becomes this crazy fest of people trying to do awesome stuff. I think that would be, if we could set that up, I honestly think that would be probably the most fun most people are going to have. Because I do think everybody is enjoying this season, but I'm not going to lie, it's still quite boring because it's a huge map for I mean, essentially, I mean, obviously we got Nats here on the West. Shout out to Safe and Nats. Isn't it Nats? Yes, I believe so. Yep. Right there you go, Nats. You got also Stud here, a good friend, Studs. Also have Wing at the top here. Where's Wing? Right here. Wing over here, and then there's another team called Tree. But we know these guys in a way are out of the picture because we're the fight is between us here, right? We're trying to see who's gonna win this fight. Whereas if you bring in a lot more teams, you have a huge map with a lot of people trying to win. That'd be epic. I'll leave it at that.
And I think it's a great investment for all the teams participating because, like, here's the thing. After you do it once, then everyone's cycle is aligned, and then you just do it again. And it's random. So you're going to end up with someone, like, if you had a great partner during that first go, you could be ended up fighting them the next go. It's random.
And you're all in the same cycle, so you can just play it out, right?
Yes, I think that's the best sustainable solution for teams and players like us.
It's just basically it's like this. Okay, if you're a big dog team, all right. Well, here's your server every season. This is what you're walking into.
Yeah, and it's going to be the same. Every team is going to have turnover, and there's going to be new teams that are going to want to get involved, and the's going to be teams that don't like it that fall out, and that's part of the show.
You could even do rankings, right? So like you have to have a certain amount of whatever to get in this server, and that's it. And you may be relegated to the not being on this server if you know what I mean. You come in whatever 8th place twice, well you're out. Next team up.
Yeah. There's a ranked Discord server where a lot of the leaders in the game hang out and talk and try to coordinate some stuff. So that could definitely be helpful to use as a tool.
The new team ranking tool is almost ready. I've been helping Isil from Amon and some others with that. So I think we will make it publicly available soon, and hopefully
team
rankings will use it. And then,
I love it.
And then hopefully
give me the top 10 ranks right now. Who's
so
the top 10 rank?
Sorry, what?
Tell everybody the top 10 ranks right now, like in football or whatever. Who are the top 10 teams from 1 to 10? Go.
The top 10 teams. Oh, it's still in the preview phase right now, so only 3 or 4 teams have been asked to fill it out. And we, for example, would rank as a rank 3 team, with rank 1 being the best rank, right?
Got it. Order would rank as a rank 3 with 1 being you'd be at least 2. You'd be at least 2.
Shit. I think I was asked to fill that out, and I've been kind of busy, so sorry.
You would be at least Order has to be at least 2. Not 1, but at least 2. Not 3.
I will be honest. A lot of people didn't fill it out, so that's that will be the challenge, to make sure that the team leaders are able to get reliable and accurate information from everyone, right? Because otherwise it won't work.
If you're listening, whenever you watch this video, an hour later, get your ass in there and get that filled out, por favor.
It's quite detailed in terms of like what they're asking for. It's not quite like it's not broad. It's not like, hey, how many whales do you have? How many kraken? How many dolphins? How many free to play players? It's like you need to fill out for all 100 spots in your team.
I like that.
Who your top, like what each player's top formation is, and like
I like that.
It's a lot of details. It's not something that you can fill out in an hour or two. It's
all right. So anyway, that seems fun though. I like that.
Yeah, I think when things maybe start cooling down a little bit is when we start getting towards the end of our current season, when folks have a little bit more time. But before we start seeing any sort of potential dips in engagement, like maybe that week before like when we get that timer and where there's kind of like that mad sprint to the end,
Yeah.
that's probably the best time to have people fill out little surveys like that and then collate the information and populate it into the template that Maddox and them are working on.
Here's a second idea that I would like for the people that are working on this to think about. After the team ranking, whatever, everything is done, you got that up and running, make one for the players. So you have your top, 50 players, 20 players in the game. I don't know how exactly you do that. It might have to be some kind of consensus vote. I don't know. But do it for players too. And then that'll give all the, the big guys in the game something to
Sure,
compete
yeah.
over.
So the way it works is each player gets a specific numeric value for his main formation. And I mean, of course, you could compare players from different teams using that value because it's the same calculation process for everyone. So yeah, you could see who the top 200 players are, for example, if that's something that's interesting.
Is it just main formation, or is there secondary formations?
So currently we are working with. You just have to input your best formation, basically. So your best for commanders that you play.
Well, you have to figure out how to take into account. There's so many people that run B teams, right, and even some that run C teams, right. You'd have to figure out how all that factors in, though. You couldn't just go off.
The thing is, we discussed this already a lot, and it has to be feasible for the lower to medium teams as well, right?
Yeah.
So we are not entirely sure if it will be possible to get 100 players in each team to fill out their entire roster in this Excel spreadsheet.
No,
right?
it wouldn't.
So,
it wouldn't. No, it would only be. And I don't even know if you get. I doubt that you get even 50 to fill it out. It would have to be some kind of consensus vote of some way, because players just ain't going to sit down and do this. Leaders will, but
exactly.
players,
Exactly.
You're just going to have to be like, all right, I fought this whoever several whatever times, and 10 guys jump in, and all right, I fought him, and he's got this and he's got that or whatever. So let's figure out, what do we rank this guy? S tier, A tier, whatever, 1, 2, 3, and then that's how it would have to happen. Maybe I don't know.
So in the preview phase, like if we sent it out to 85 people, we got like 40 responses back, roughly, which is 50%. Right?
Exactly.
So,
is it like a survey format, or is it like a spreadsheet? I forget. It's been a couple. I think it's been a couple months.
So right now it works like this. We have a plan of making a website, but the problem is like most of the websites cost money, and it's a little bit difficult to set this up. It's not only me who is doing it, right? It's other people involved as well.
Put it on the Discord. Put it on fellow Gore, whoever, whatever, the official.
Yeah.
Put it on the Discord. That's how you do it. That's how the community.
I'll chat with Isil about it. The way it works right now is you basically get an online Excel form. You fill in your formation. You get a value. You input your value into a column, and you press share or save or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the next player does it, right? So it's just manually inputting the stuff. Yeah.
It's not hard to do this. So if we get it out to the Discords, then and we tell everyone, hey, jump in here and do this if you want to be on
and it's not actually, you don't have to write anything. It's just it's like selecting, right? So everything is set up. You select, for example, Dane, then you select the respect level, you select the weapons, the unique, and it takes like 5 to 10 minutes, but some players who play casually, they won't invest the time. So
no, you'd have to just take people off of teams and then have leaders or prominent players or whatever all just jump in and
exactly. It will fall to in the end it will fall to the leaders, right? They will have to run after the players to make sure that they fill it out.
And you get them all together in an ongoing chat and say, okay, well, whoever player X, this is what he's got, this is his gear, whatever, this is who he uses, and then you just say, all right, here's your rank.
Exactly. And I mean the commanders are also ranked, right? So if you input an, I don't know, Isildur at Zenith 16, you're gonna get less value than if you input a Dane at high Zenith, right?
Yeah.
And for that we used actually the tier list that we made a couple of weeks ago on the stream, right? Or it was a couple of months ago, I think. So
Yeah.
we're using the tier list that we made, right? Which
Yeah.
is pretty cool, I think. So
Which is
yeah.
still pretty accurate, I think. The tier list we
Yeah,
did,
I think so too.
it's
Yeah.
all pretty accurate. I think some of our choices, maybe at the time, people were, like, maybe not, but then they realize, oh, maybe so.
Yeah. There are a few more commanders. I mean, on this server especially, there are a few accounts who have really high gear and commanders to test some funky formations, right?
Yeah.
So I think if we revisit the tier list, there might be like 3 to 4 more
Yeah, there'll
commanders
be
that
a
rank
few-
a little
a
bit
few-
higher, right?
Like Lord Gullum. Look at Lord Gullum right there, fellow. There's a unique. Go up, fellow.
Yeah,
Go back up.
I love this guy using freaking.
Yeah. Go
this guy
to
right here.
there's one that makes you say, what's going on here?
Yeah, the back serpent is interesting, yeah.
Well, you can only do it like he's doing it, but it works.
Yeah.
He gonna make me get my whatever it is, Z10 or whatever Black Serpent out and try this formation. He gonna make me do that.
Yeah, it doesn't look that bad actually, yeah. Fellow, can you show the gear from Sagi?
Yeah.
Just
It
to
doesn't
see, like-
matter who he fights, really. He wins with this formation. It's interesting.
Yeah,
I've not seen him lose yet with this formation. Can you sustain it? Hell no, but it's sure fun to win like he's winning, I bet.
Yeah, Saggy Hammer is not a slouch.
No, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
who's on there except maybe G Unit, Wrath, maybe Lonely. I don't know, a few others, whatever, can maybe win that, but I still think they might lose the draw. It doesn't matter who he hits, I don't think, with that, because it's large. When you go all large,
Yeah, he's a big guy, yeah. Big guy.
you're just gonna win. You're gonna win every time you go all large. But can you sustain it? Fuck no.
Okay, by the way, I just had a couple people reach out on DMs talking about this random server idea, and
Yeah.
they say that they think that their teams would want to do it. I kind of want to
Yeah.
revisit this idea because honestly, Turgon, Jax, I mean, all you guys that are here in the chat, in the voice chat, but also watching, if this is something we can consistently do, I think
Yeah.
we're gonna create our own little
Premier League.
Premier League every season. Yes. Whereas
and I think
we start with 8,
Yep.
and then people are gonna, maybe it seems like no, this is not for us, but then other teams are gonna say we wanna compete with these guys.
You got to work your way in, brother.
Exactly,
You got
exactly.
to get yourself here, and then once you're here, you're not safe if you
Yep.
don't finish in the. Let's say it's 8 teams, right? An
Yep.
8-team league, right? And we're all fighting every season, and nobody's on a team. There's none. You just random every season. It's random. It is
Yep.
what it is. If you finish 8th, well, I'm sorry, but here's the door. Exit stage left. Next guy up. You're in the 8th spot, but you can't finish 8th because if you finish 8th, you're gone. Somebody taking your spot, homie.
Yep.
So you gotta stay in that top 7, brother.
Imagine, I mean, this is just me thinking out loud. Maybe people won't want this. So imagine having our own prize outside of these, these kind of lackluster seasonal awards that the game gives.
Yeah, the trophy, the one in the Premier League.
Yeah, just not just the trophy. Imagine having some actual prize that the teams can win. So that it's like an external motivator for people to want to participate, for people to want to watch and stay tuned to it. It's like we create our own little league inside the game because the game won't do it. So, but who knows? Who knows? The dev sees it like, wow, this actually is working, and then they implement it themselves.
And nobody's gonna be dominant in this type of format.
Exactly.
At all.
Nobody, that's the
like
idea. Yeah.
YUDZ or ACES are not just going to sit here and just roll over, steamroll every season. It's not going to happen. In fact, you're going to get steamrolled occasionally because motherfuckers are going to team up for, even if it's just for 2 weeks to take you out, you're going to get taken out. There's nobody going to be safe in this. Nobody.
Yep.
It kind of levels the playing field to some degree.
I think in this type of format, you're going to start seeing a lot more variation of outcomes because, like, right now, it's like 2v2, 4v4. But with this kind of if you have 8, 10, 12 teams all on the same server that are big, I mean, people could, instead of like, okay, let's say that ACES and YUDZ somehow magically end up being in the same spawn region. That doesn't mean we team up. We could just fight each other in the spawn region the whole season while everyone else is doing, or that could mean we do team up and the whole server is like 8 teams versus us. Like there's so many different ways it could go, and either way is going to be interesting.
The whole server versus ACES and YUDZ, you're getting stomped out, brother. That's it.
But what are the chances of that? Because it's random, so that would be crazy if that randomly happened. Like that's crazy. But we would that's still, just one hypothetical scenario.
Even if it randomly happened and uses ACES on the same team, which we would not set it up to do that to anyone, by the way. But even if it did happen and the whole server teamed up against you, I'm sorry, but you're getting boobopped.
I'm pretty sure that if ACES and YUDZ fought against Order, Lame, Gods, Panda, Bear, DK, like we would get stomped.
We would get absolutely. We wouldn't even have a territory, homie.
So, I mean, if folks are interested in this idea, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to start working to start coordinating it and getting it put together. We'll be done probably this server. My estimate is like around the 25th of February because that's right around the 7-week mark. We could probably do something as soon as March if folks are willing to hang out. It would be
painful the first time to get it up and running with the waiting and whatever, but then after that initial period of pain, it would be joy there the rest of the way, right? Because you're going out of a server straight back in. It would be great.
Yeah, there would be after everyone gets set up, then we could just keep it going.
Bro, if we get this pumped, you're gonna see people wanting to wait for this. Like, no, you're gonna get the top 8 to 10 teams wanting to start on this. So I think it's gonna be really, really, really cool.
Maddox and Scar, you guys agree?
Yeah, I'm listening. I think it could be fun.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I love it.
I think it's win-win. Really, there's no all positive, no negatives in my opinion.
Yeah.
The main thing is that like not the same teams play together all the time, right? Because that gets boring pretty quickly. So
it's a
nice way to spice things up.
Yeah, it would take care of that problem just by proxy, by where you're spawning, right? So,
yeah,
exactly.
I mean, hypothetically, if teams don't like the way things get set up by the randomizer, you can work to get your team to change spawn region. If the spawn region is not full, that there is options. It's not pretty. It's not fun.
Yeah, that'd be very detrimental, though. You'd put yourself so far behind. And it's dangerous. It'd be very dangerous.
Well, we've seen it before, like the 4 seasons ago when Meta spawned on top of Order and Ilil, they got forced out of Forward Waith after what was it, day 3 or 4? You guys moved over to White Mountains or something. So sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
It's an option. It's not, and I think it costs more gems now than it did then. To change your spawn region, which kind of makes it prohibitive, but it's nice just to know that there are options and contingencies available.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's gonna be good. But guys, I left. Okay, so if you guys haven't seen it, there's a poll I just put up. Would you guys want to see a leak like this? I'm gonna let you guys a couple more minutes to vote. We got 60 people watching, only 19 votes. Give your feedback, because if this is something that you think, I already have a couple leaders reaching out to me in DM saying that they want to participate or they'd be interested. And so it's going to be just, working out the details of this. And so, and if you are playing in a team, potentially, tell your leaders if they're not watching, look, they're wanting to set up a league system that we can have. Because I think most people that I talk to, most teams that I talk to, and most servers that I follow, most of the times they are pretty dead, and they end pretty early. First week, second week, maximum third week, basically the season is decided. Because there isn't, if, just like the guys were saying earlier, it's basically a snowball effect if you get pushed back. You get pushed back a little bit, you get a couple territories taken out, people are like, nah, let's log off because basically season is over. So with a league like this, with big teams, it doesn't have to be cracking teams, just teams with 100 players with enough strong players to balance it out, then it creates this very dynamic server. And I think I would love to see that happen in Rise to War. Haven't seen that in so many seasons, honestly. It's been too long.
I think what you guys said before, the DK server right now, I think it's such a great server because like this situation evolved organically, right? Like no one knows there yet who will take the ring, I think.
Exactly.
And it's already pretty late in the season, so
yeah.
Recreating something like this would be really cool for sure. I will say 2 seasons ago, when we had the really busy server with Ilil against
with
YUDZ
Lame
and GODZ,
Yep.
I think that server was also like going into that direction. Maybe if there were like 1 to 2 a little bit stronger teams, there would have been
Yes.
a little bit more dynamics, but I mean that was a lot of fighting, right? Also for a very long period of time.
Yeah.
Those
That
servers
was,
always end up being really cool. So
That was a crazy hard season, bro. Fighting
Yeah,
all over
crazy.
the map against the whole server.
Yeah.
That was
I think I tallied up the merit for that season, and I think YUDZ had like 350 million merit, which was like
nuts, bro.
astronomical.
Nuts.
Like just
Nuts.
yeah,
That's a crazy season, and where it showed potential. In this case, the reason why I feel it wasn't is because Lame and Pran, they're like the tipping balance of that server. It's like everybody was trying to kind of be on their good side because whoever they attacked kind of tipped the balance a little. So I think it ended on a good note. Nobody got like the top title, so I think it was good for how the server was. But imagine just having to double the amount of teams like that. Imagine how dynamic and crazy of a season it would be. Whew. That'd be fun. I think that'd be extremely fun.
that didn't come out the way that I wanted in the chat at all.
Yeah, that is.
So
That's
like I didn't do the last season because last season was super boring, but like comparatively, like if you look at the season that YUDZ and GODZ faced Meta and Chaos and Layman Pran and Ilil and Order, we were all there. YUDZ ended up with 240 million merit. Season 15 was the season where we faced Toby and Bank and GODZ and Ilil, and we ended up with 190 million merit. So a little bit less. That season with Order and Ilil and the 10v2, we had 342 million merit. Just insane. Insane. So much fighting 24/7, and it was so stressful and chaotic, and I loved it.
And it wasn't like all 10 of those teams were the strongest. They were not. But they were all all of them were at least 8 of the 10 were active all the time.
Yeah.
And they were pushing, in every direction. It reminded me of that Clown Fiesta Season 4 War of the Rings, where it was like 7v1, right? Good versus evil. It was like that. It was all over the map, and you're spread out everywhere in every direction.
Yep.
You just pick direction and you're fighting.
And that's the cool thing. At least there was fighting for everybody, Because come on, everybody invests so much time farming. Imagine you invest 2-3 weeks, countless hours of farming. You're like, by the time you're done fighting, the season is already over. Like, okay, so I farmed for no reason again.
It's comparable to World War II. If YUDZ, I guess, was Germany, they were just fighting all over the world against everybody. It was nuts.
Yeah, that was pretty bonkers. I think we had like 20 players in Eastern Wastes, 20 players in Gorgoroth, and then the rest of us were in on Deeps
fighting Order.
We were spread out all over the place.
And Deeps had the fewest players, actually, for a while there. For like a month, we had the fewest players out of any other region we were fighting in. And we were fighting against the hardest teams in Order and Island. It was very difficult, bro. We almost got wrecked.
Yep.
Yeah, we had to pull some people in order to, because we lost the Eastern Waste Pass that season to HISP. And that was going to make a big mess if they got into our safe farm. And so we had to like pull some players from one of our squads from on Deeps to go over and help manage all that. And we ended up taking that pass. And then we lost the other pass to Bull and Domi, and we had to clean that up. It was just,
it was fun.
so
Come on.
chaotic.
It was chaotic, but it's one of those seasons where you can't say, man, there wasn't enough fighting. You know?
Yeah.
Because
342 million merit definitely
You know?
is a lot of
I
fighting.
mean, honestly,
We've been lucky.
I was so
very lucky.
stoked when HISP broke through the pass because my base was right there, and we're like trying to hold last minute because they're just bombing us with units, and then they passed. And remember how far they moved? They just started taking tiles everywhere. They're like just, they're like a bunch of ants, just
Ants, bro.
going
Just ants
everywhere. So then we had
That's
to
a
assemble a
100
few more.
goal.
We had to assemble a few good, strong players. So like, hey, we gotta take it back. So it was like days of planning and getting stuff done, and then finally we got it back and we were able to hold them off. But
we've been lucky these last 3 seasons with having good servers. We really have been.
yeah, definitely.
I credit the leadership. You know, the huge leadership doesn't get enough credit, and they're so good. You know, they're on top of everything and very coordinated.
Today's pass taking, that was mind blowing. Honestly, the strategy, the execution, the communication was just so spot on. It reminded me of a old team I used to play with. I mean, DP and Price will remember this. We used to play with the guy. Malice. I don't even know if Malice is watching this. Malice is we played together season 1 and season 2, but Malice is in lane now. But season 4, I started to play with a team with a player called King Naga, very long name, and he used to have these like very specific targets, and he would give rewards to players that like actual in-game rewards to players who get those targets. And it was like this really long planning and really brilliant execution on those targets. And that's how it felt today with the pass taking. It was just awesome to participate and to see too. So
yeah,
huge shout out to the YUDZ, to YUDZ leadership, honestly.
that was several days in planning and build up as well. You know, it wasn't just like spur of the moment.
That pass attack that Maddox mentioned from a couple of nights ago, we learned from that. We tried it. We knew that it was kind of a little bit last minute to try to do, and we didn't feel like we had enough flyers, but we did it anyway because what were we supposed to do? Just sit around and twiddle our thumbs? Like, we want to play the game. And it, like I said, it went about as we expected, and we learned from it, and we prepped, and it was a well thought through and well executed plan. So kudos to
and don't worry, the EU players, they were called at 3 a.m. when the pass was attacked. So you definitely kept us busy there.
That was honestly, I'll give it to Lame was like, yo, I think the order is a little bit, their activity tends to dip at this time, so let's give it a try and see what happens.
Oh, that's hilarious. Imagine you're in your bed, you get a fucking Discord, whatever. It's 3 a.m. and you wake up to this shit.
Hey, you have to do what's best for the team.
I
right?
love it, bro. There ain't no way in hell I'm getting out of my bed at 3 a.m. for no motherfucking game, homie. I don't give a fuck who it is. It's not happening. You are not getting a response. Even a woman ain't getting no response at that time. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of these like events happening at 0800 UTC is really, really rough on us over here in America. Like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning for me right now. It's midnight for Jax out west, which maybe isn't so bad, but like having to set an alarm for 3 a.m. to start the season and for all of these passes opening, I want to sleep. Come on, guys.
It's really bad, and I hate it so much because basically the developers are telling you when you should play, right? And
Yeah, pretty much.
that's something
true.
I don't agree with that at all, right? That just doesn't make sense. And if you're slow on the passes, you are at a significant disadvantage. So if you have your US people sleep at that time and you're like 1 to 2 hours slower than the enemy team, you've basically already lost the neutral region, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
it's really rough. Yeah.
it is.
Yep.
Shout out to Law in chat. Law.
Law, Zane.
I gotta run, guys.
Good.
It's dinner time for me.
Take care.
Love y'all.
Dragon.
Have a great weekend.
We're about to wrap up. Thank you, brother, for staying on.
Law, you gotta
pleasure.
rewatch
Cheers, guys.
this. You gotta rewatch this, Law, when you get a chance. We're talking big future plans here about getting a Premier League server going. So check it out.
Yep. I think that's a really good system to get going for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the way forward, I think.
Let's see here. Imagine having a job.
3 a.m. the fucking phone or whatever is blowing up. They're attacking the pass. Get your ass up. Can you imagine? Hell nah, bro.
Well, you may not, but a lot of people, man.
Hell nah, bro.
Hey,
Hell
if you have 65 active people, you have to do what you have to do, right? Like
You got the wrong motherfucker. It is not happening, bro. Fuck that pass. Hell no.
I'll get it later.
I'm not that guy.
Oh man, I think that's cool. I think one of the best things for tonight's stream though is just talking about this whole idea of this system, because more people that see it, I think more people are gonna get excited, and the more make sure we do it and keep at it is gonna probably catch the eyes of the devs, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, oh, maybe we should implement this. There's been so many things that we've done outside of the game that the devs implemented after they saw it working, that I wouldn't be surprised. So let's get that going for sure. And yeah.
So what's everybody doing this weekend? What are you doing this weekend, fellow?
I'm just chilling. I mean, tomorrow, yeah, I'm just chilling, man. Taking my kids to do some stuff tomorrow, but just relax.
Yeah. What about you, Maddox?
I will defend the pass. No, just it's gonna be a relaxing weekend. We have a lot of snow here now in the mountains, right? So
Yeah.
I'll probably just do some weekend shopping and relax a little bit from the turbulent last days.
Yeah.
Jax, how's the
What
fire?
about-
How's the fire over there, and you guys?
Well, I was thinking that this weekend, if it's open, I don't know that it's open for passage yet, but I'd take the motorcycle up in the Palisades and the Santa Monica Mountains and all that around Malibu and get some videos of the destruction. But the fires, it got within 3 miles of my little shack I live in by the beach in Santa Monica, near Santa Monica, and that was as far as it got. So I never really had a problem with it, but a lot of houses, probably like 10,000 houses all gone, and I think that when you add up all this destruction in the end, it will be the most expensive, whatever national disaster, whatever you call it, right? Ever in the history of this country, or maybe any country, when it's all added up, because every one of those houses in the Pacific Palisades alone, even Altadena, which was also most of the houses in Altadena and Pacific Palisades were the ones that burned down. Those houses in Pacific Palisades, each and every one of them, and I'm talking like 10,000, right? Each and every one of those are several million, if not 10 million. Every single one, right? And they're just normal houses in any other city. They're nothing special, not made of gold or nothing. It's just where it was at, right? So, but I think when it's all added up, it'll be the most expensive, whatever national disaster, whatever you call it, climate event ever. So, but for me, yeah, I was thinking maybe if it's open, driving up there and having a look, drive around up in the mountains and have a look. A lot of the motorcycle guys, the sport bike guys, and even some of the cruiser guys, there's a pass up in the Santa Monica Mountains where the fires happened over by the coast, Malibu, and it's called Snake Pass. And it's called Snake Pass, and it's very popular with sport bike guys because the road winds through the mountains up on the top of the mountain, and it's kind of reminiscent of some of these coastal areas in Europe, maybe in Italy or whatever, and you're just driving on the road, and to your right is just a drop down for several hundred feet. On your left is the mountain, of course, and it winds through and around these mountains, and it's a very exciting ride if you're on any kind of motorcycle, but more so for sport bikes because of all these twists and turns, and it's very scenic and fun and shit. But if it's open, I was maybe going to go over there and check it out, how bad it was. But for the most part, everything's okay now.
Good.
Over in my neck of the woods.
Good. All right, good.
That's good.
Scar, you guys okay there too on the West Coast?
Yeah, I'm unaffected. I know other
Okay.
people are. Down south, lots of friends of mine, but it looks like things are clearing up down there a bit. I'm sure Jax has a lot more info than me. But yeah, Northern Cali is fine so far. We don't have any big fires up here, but we're definitely expecting some soon with all this wind. Even though it's cold, it's windy. It's very, very high wind, and the fires just run through California like crazy every year.
Every year, yeah.
It's nuts. They haven't figured out how to better manage this at this point. It's really kind of crazy in this day and age. It's such a problem. It really is. I don't think anybody really understands it. Like, how does it keep happening? Why don't you do something about it? So they have their own problems up in Scar's neck of the woods in San Francisco.
Jax, what do you think is the problem? Is it like a lack of resources to prevent this from happening, or?
Well, listening to the news and the talk shows and the people in the know, there was several issues, or have been all along. Specifically talking the Palisades fire, is the fire hydrants. When there's a fire truck comes along and he hooks up his hoses to the fire hydrants.
Yep.
And then he sources the water from wherever the fire hydrant is connected to get his water. Well, what happened when the Palisades, and this is the fires that happen right by the coastal region of Los Angeles, which is over by Santa Monica. Pacific Palisades is just north of the coast up in the mountains. And then Malibu is, if you continue along the coast, go PCH going north, you run into Malibu area, which was also affected. But the Palisades fire, one of the biggest problems initially, before it spread and was able to just kind of burn everything, the first whatever day or two when it started, and the fire crews went to respond, and some people complained about this. Like, at the time, they're like, what the fuck is going on? Because the fire engine would show up and just watch the fucking place burn down, the house burn down, and do nothing, right? Spray no water on it. Well, the reason why they couldn't is because up in the kind of a valley of several mountains, up in the Santa Monica Mountains, there's a huge 11 million gallon reservoir. All right. And that's a well, basically, that holds 11 million gallons of water. And the fire hydrants, underneath the fire hydrant, there are pipes. Those pipes go to a source where the water comes from. For many of those fire hydrants, that source was that reservoir. So the pipes from the fire hydrants ran to the reservoir, and that's what they would pump from. But that reservoir at the time, and for a few years now, has been down and drained for repairs. And it had not 11 million gallons of water, but 0 gallons of water.
Wow.
So the fire crews, fire engines, they were not aware of that man-to-man, engine-to-engine, truck-to-truck. So they would pull up to somebody's house, either about to get burned to the ground or burning to the ground presently, hook up their hoses to the fire hydrant and begin pumping water, but no water would come out. And they could do nothing to prevent this rapid spread of the fire as it was happening initially. And then there's a lot of other reasons.
That sounds like a lot of incompetence, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a lot of other reasons. The forest management aspect is one that has not been properly managed at all. They don't they don't remove brush. They don't create preemptive fire lines. They don't have just all kinds of things. They don't have enough infrastructure, whatever it is, resources, manpower, vehicles, blah 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 blah. I don't fucking know. The mayor of LA, she cut the fire budget by I think 24, I want to say million or billion when she took off.
Wow.
There's if you research it, you'll find out. I'm not going to waste everybody's time here. This is a game stream or whatever, but there was a lot of behind the scenes shit that was going on that was not good and not prepared, and it's just strange. Me personally, common sense tells me, and this is a problem that a lot of the houses that burnt down have in common, shared common problem, commonality, is a lot of the houses that burnt down were made of wood. Okay, so me, common sense, if I'm going into a situation where I'm buying my forever home up in the Palisades, up in the Santa Monica Mountains, which is basically a desert, okay, with some trees and brush. It's just a desert. There's no water. There's no rain. It only rains for a couple weeks of the year, really, down here in Los Angeles. But if I was going to build a house up in that area, and obviously you're going to know there's fire hazards, I would have made that fucking house of stone. Because stone, when you see the videos and you see the remains of these burnt out houses, if you watch this, what you'll see, the only thing left standing are the chimneys. Well, what are the chimneys made of? Stone. Okay? And also, if I build a house up there, I think common sense would tell you to install sprinkler systems on your roof and all around your property, because most of the structures that burned, it wasn't from fire walking up to the house and burning the house. It was from the embers in the air. Okay? The little, looks like little light bugs in the air.
Yep.
Little flickers of flame. Those are blown by the wind, and you get enough of those in one area of a roof, it'll catch fire, and then it's all over, right? But if you have roof sprinkler systems, same as a sprinkler in your yard, it just sprays water in a pattern, in a swath of area. It's just spraying water. You put those all around your roof, those embers will never take a hold of your roof, and they'll never burn because they're just running into water, and they immediately dissipate, right? And then you have sprinklers all around your house, and maybe even install your own well with a fire hydrant yourself. But most people, I don't know, 90% have nothing of the sort, and they just have wooden houses, and now they have no house. But there's a lot more to it, and if you research it and go check into it on the internet, you'll find out. But it's just it's just strange because it happens every year.
That's
Same
the
thing.
crazy thing. It happens every year. That's the crazy thing.
It's still not fixed. It's and California has some like the top 10 GDP as a state. It's just a state. It's not a country, but it has a top 10 GDP of all countries, right? So what the fuck are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? How is this not a problem? How is this not something that's important? We don't get it.
Crazy, isn't it? Well,
that's also why you don't buy a wooden house in South Florida, Jax.
Yeah.
Because of hurricanes.
Yeah. Well, certain parts of Florida, and more so, I think, Louisiana, you can't even build a house, or you're stupid if you do. And the people that live there or have lived there a long time, you have to build your house on stilts. So you have to put your house 10 feet above, at least 10 feet off of the ground. Because if you don't, you're going to get flooded.
Yeah, I know so many stories of friends of mine that after a hurricane, they had gators inside their house because they flooded. Basically, water came into the house. So
imagine a situation where it's 3 a.m. and your phone starts blowing up because Your leader's messaging you on, pinging you on Discord to get up to the pass. You wake up, you put your feet over the bed, and your feet goes into a big lake of water, and there's a gator sitting right there in your doorway.
Oh my god.
Let's hope the gator can defend the pass or attack the pass. I don't know.
Yep, maybe he can tap your screen for you. All right, well, look at that. Having Thanatos reach out to your leaders, see if they want to participate in this mega server, this league that we're building up, or we're gonna help build. We're gonna help the community build it up.
Well, yeah, I don't know the plans about Vena, so she does what she does. We trust her, and not having to rely on all organizing and everything has given me a chill life. So I just have my group of Italians, and we're riding just fine.
Yeah.
We never had Vina on the stream. We were supposed to, but the timing was off, right?
Yeah, she's in Vietnam. I don't know if she's still there, but she was. I think she's in Taiwan or Vietnam, somewhere in the east.
Oh yeah, she's in Vietnam. So right now, I think she's waking up right now. But she's moving to Austria soon, so it would be European.
There you go. That'd be perfect.
What kind of job does she have that takes her from Vietnam to Austria, I wonder?
Good question.
I don't know, but
when she moves to Austria.
It's a good job. It's a good job because she's 24/7 in Discord or in game. So I mean, it must be a great.
It doesn't sound like a job. Sounds like maybe something else, right?
We'll ask her when she's in Austria, and then she hops on the stream.
Yeah. I wanted to definitely give her a shout out on stream for what she was doing in support of the community. That was very nice to see. I respected it.
Yeah.
The Austrians always have great leaders. Let's be honest.
Yeah, right, right, Mannix. I wonder why. I wonder why he said that.
So to summarize, for anybody tuning in late, this is just the we are checking in from the mega server with what we think are the two strongest teams in the game, with ACES and YUDZ, and then two of the other strongest teams in the game in ORDR and Lame, who are our partners, ACES and ORDR, and YUDZ and Lame versus each other. We're just doing an update, letting you know, and we also plan on having an in-the-stream season awards show to recap the entire season and pass out awards for individual players. We're going to do that, like we always do here, and then ACES are also going to have their own internal award. We're going to try and do both of those at the same time. Sometime in the next, something about 30 days from now, somewhere thereabouts, when the season's over, we'll all come back together and summarize everything, go over everything that happened, and hear everybody's thoughts, hand out some awards, have some fun, and then look forward to the future, which we're trying and talking and debating about getting together a Premier League of sorts within the game and just getting, the top 6 to 8 teams to fight each other randomly every season, and then, whoever finishes last gets relegated back to the normal servers, and then the next team up steps in. So stay tuned.
Yeah, that's the way.
Relegated to RP. Relegated to roleplay.
Forced to play RP. that'd be a nice challenge. Yes. That is it. Jack summarized it pretty well. So hopefully we can get that going very soon. I mean, like I said, our season ends in 40 days, I believe, still. So we have enough time to work out the details of that server. But if you're watching and you'd like to potentially have your team participate, or you want to just get to know more about it, let us know. Just anywhere on Discord, hit one of us up, and we'll put you guys in contact with the ones that will be organizing and running all the details. Because I honestly, like I said earlier, I do think that will be the way to go for fun servers in the future. Even for small teams, you guys can see how it works and then do it yourselves. Because my last 5 seasons, and I've been playing with YUDZ for a while now. Out of the 5 or 6 we've been playing, half of them have died. Like one of them died within the first 5 days. Like the season was over in the first 5 days. So we want to make sure that the amount of time we put into this game has to be, has to give us something back, and everybody wants to fight. So being able to get a bunch of teams randomly together sounds like the way to go. So Porky said, sounds like a mega teams problem. That's true too. That could potentially be it. People know that we're here. They jump out. But when the first season, this season that I said ended it in 5 days, it was 4 or 5 seasons ago. So YUDZ wasn't as big of a name as we are now. So it was just dead. Like the 2 teams that joined, we were able to fight them very, very early on, and then they just quit. And so I do agree that the bigger you are, harder it is to find people that are wanting to fight you. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of the NRP servers are not as active. When you consider how many starting areas you have, and potentially how many people you could fit 2,000, I think maybe even 3,000 people in a server, and they never fill up. So we'll see.
To answer Porky's comments, if you rewatch the video, you'll see it fully fleshed out and explained.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like this mega team type of maybe whatever you're thinking server, Porky. It would be a situation and server where every team in it would obviously be a good team. It doesn't have to be a mega team.
Yep.
But a good team. It has to be a good team. And you would randomly select where you're going to spawn. Meaning there are no allies. There are no team ups. Everything is randomized. So,
You could also do a team wheel. Before the season starts.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But what we're talking about is just everything is randomized. So technically ACES and YUDZ could spawn right next to each other and fight each other, or not, right? Or anybody could, for whatever, a month or the whole season or whatever, team up with someone else who they spawn near, and then those 2 teams could take out YUDZ or ACES, or everybody could take out YUDZ or who knows, right? It's all randomized. So there isn't like an advantage. There is really no advantage, because if you're the best team in the game or the strongest, and a couple, 2 or 3 other teams that are maybe not as strong, but they all have 100 players and they're all somewhat strong, say, hey, time to die. Well, see ya. They're going to die because there's only so much you can do, right? So it would be fully randomized is the point. It isn't just, whatever maybe you're thinking. Anything could happen, basically.
Yeah. Let's end on this note. Porky said, no, I'm just saying that good servers are there. It just seems to be a problem at the tip top. That's something that I'm going to try to find out, talk to Turgon and some other guys to see if how many active, season 3 onward servers are out there at the same time, and see just how full they are. Because to me, a full server, a good server would be at least 6 full teams. And I'm not saying not 6 big teams, just 6 teams of 100 people that are actually relatively active. And I honestly don't know how many servers are like that, every cycle. I know that I see 1 or 2, but I haven't seen, in NRP at least, I haven't seen one that is just, it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams that are just going.
It's very hard to find.
Very hard. It's been my experience. It is quite hard to find, 8 teams in a server where they are just active. You might say, yeah, but you have like, for example, studs. Give an example of studs. These guys they were not meant to exist. They existed because once they came into the season, they saw there were actually a lot of players in the Dark Land. And so like, well, there's a lot of people here. Let's make a team. They are an overflow, just like ACES have a few overflow of players. So does YUDZ and Lame, and they came here just to kind of do something during the season, and then they found out there were actually more players here, so they teamed up, and they're fighting Wing and Tree. These guys, I mean, obviously, these guys are a full 100 player team, and if they were to fight anybody here, they would cause problems. Even if they don't have whaled out accounts, they're still going to be a problem, because at the end of the day, numbers play it is a numbers game. And so I'm just, maybe RP is a little bit different, and I know you play in RP too, Porky, so that's not the case. But I do think most servers do struggle to have more than, 4 or 5 relative active teams at a time, on average. Okay.
Yeah, and a shout out to definitely the studs, because even though they're an overflow team, and whatever it is, what it is, respect to those guys, because they checked in, they punched their time clock, they went to work, and they are, just doing what they do, bro, and just steamrolling their areas and taking over everything in their path. So thank God they're neutral, they're not involved in this, because it would have tipped the battle for sure.
Definitely would have. They would have, yes. Africo had he said, Africo had asked this question: what do you think of teams of 60 people only? So think of this way: a team of 100 people, you're gonna have, a percentage of them that will be active quite often. Maybe 80%, 70%. It depends on the dynamic of your team. And so essentially, what you're doing, you get those 60 people, and you do a 30% drop of activity, then you're basically seeing about 40 to 45 people that are actually active. It's fine, Africo, as long as you guys go. If you're gonna go into a season with a team of 60, some will go AFK, because as soon as you start playing, it's just the nature of this game. You might land next to a big team, and they're gonna take the tiles that you want, and you're either gonna spend your entire season fighting them, or you're going to slowly move somewhere else so you can do something, right? And maybe be a problem to somebody else. But as long as you guys go into a season, even if you have 60 people, knowing we're going to play for our team, we're going to have fun, we're not going to stop playing, we're going to fight whoever is in there and have a good time. And the issue is most smaller teams don't tend to have that mentality or that dynamic, view. And so they suffer. They usually will play a little, and then 40, 50, 60, 70% of the team will just go AFK once they see the scenario of the server. I wish it was a little bit different, but because the game, is time consuming, it takes a lot of time, especially from the leaders, to do things. Those teams often suffer. But hey, if you guys are going to go into a server and be active no matter what, man, you guys are just as important for our server as anybody else's. Because imagine if your team was here, let's say your team was in this region here, right, where in the green area, like Nats is, or somewhere here, right? You guys say, look, we're gonna fight whoever is in this region. We don't care if they're gonna come after us after, but we're gonna show our potential. You guys, we would have been having to relocate some people here to be fighting you guys while you guys were taking our resource tiles. So there's always something to do. It's just whether people are willing to do it or not. And essentially, once people come into a season and they see that they're not going to win the ring, a lot of them just quit. That happens to big teams. Big teams will come, we're going to win. As soon as they start losing, land, like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to either some just quit the game. Others will say, I'll just log in for my free stuff daily and come back next season. It happens to big teams as well. So it's just a dynamic you have to learn and get used to from the game. So
I think he also meant if the warband size, for example, gets adjusted to 60 people instead of 100.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You have
I don't think personally. I don't think it's always a problem if you have a large team. So let's take the Pirates for example. Jackson and I came from the Pirates. There was a point where we had a 400 player team. I think it was just one season we did that. We were 400 Pirates in 2 different factions, and after that they removed the United faction, so you couldn't have 400 people anymore. So it was just 200. We had to cut down to 200 players. That was a very hard task. I mean, you get used to it, but you lose 200 friends that were playing with you for a long time. So besides that fact, if you're gonna make teams of 50, teams of 40, I think that matters less depending how you're gonna present the season. Because if you're just making teams smaller, kingdoms smaller, essentially making servers more empty, and I don't think that is a good balance for the game. I don't think it matters, how many teams how many players your team is able to have. To me, it matters how well you're able to just put people inside that server. And as we can see from a lot of the feedback we get, it hasn't been the greatest experience or, task to fill up a server, because you come into a server, you're like, okay, there's 2 big teams. Everybody else is kind of, doing other things. But yeah, I don't mind. Size doesn't really matter. It's a matter of how well you're able to fill it up.
That's what she said.
Jack's words, not mine. Vofen, there should be better rewards for the amount of merit you collect. Yes, I do agree. There should be. I think the season rewards are a joke. The amount of time they ask us to play this game, I do think that there should be a lot better rewards for people to say, "Hey, I actually want to play this season," because maybe I'm not gonna get the ring, which has the ultimate rewards, but there should be good rewards for the other rankings, so people actually want to do stuff.
It would also be cool if they added rewards for players who snipe reinforcements and flip a lot of tiles. I think there's currently almost nothing for players like that, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many awesome things that they could implement into the game. I mean, there are so many different ways that they could. If the issue is making money, they don't understand that players are willing to put money if they see some kind of benefit to them. So there are so many different ways they could make money without making the game pay to win. People might say, people that don't spend or spend less, they're gonna say this game is pay to win. It's still, even with 2.0, it's still nothing compared to some other games. It's like night and day difference compared to other games. So, but there definitely are other ways that they could do. They could reward people, for doing all the different tasks that they put in front of you. You got a siege, man. Give some really good rewards for top sieger in the season, and other things like that. So, I mean, there are. I think we've been talking about these things since 2.5 years ago. It's just would have been nice to see those get implemented. But I still enjoy, guys. Honestly, I miss 1.0, like probably every single one of you here. But I'm enjoying, especially with the team dynamic that we have. Actually enjoying it. So. But Zane said, but they've also increased the pay to win factor by a lot compared to when the game launched. To be fair, that is true, Zane. I agree with you there. It's just, even with these changes, it's still a night and day difference between other games. AOE that launched a few months ago. Whew, man, even people that I know that were playing, they all quit. It's just ridiculous. It's just if you're a Rise War player and you try AOE, you're like, why was this even made? That's how bad AOE's make. Not the mechanics, but the whole pay to win aspect is just ridiculous. So,
what's scary is that the NetEase, okay, they have this game, right? In this game we have the issues we have, or whatever. But they probably have the #1 game in the whole world right now in Marvel Rivals.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I play it. I probably do a match every day before I go to bed, and it's a freaking fun game, man.
Who's your main?
What? What do I mean?
Who's your main?
Oh, so I mean, I'm not a very good FPS. I've always played RPGs. That's why I'm big into these kinds of games. But I've been getting pretty good with Captain America as my tank. I kind of play him as a tank, to suck up the damage for others. But also been getting really good with Cloak and Dagger, actually.
Oh yeah, Cloak and Dagger are fun.
They're fun because you don't need as much aim,
Our Chaos group, we still play games with each other every night. We have a whole Chaos gaming server, and
nice.
We're doing rank grinding. We're mostly in Diamond. all together right now, but yeah, we're big into Rivals.
You can't play that game though without a team. That's why I haven't gotten into it, because there's just no point. You ain't got a team, it's just a waste of time.
Well, the Chaos Gaming server is kind of an open server. It's not called Chaos Gaming. It's just my gaming server. So if you guys are interested, you'd be welcome to, join it.
I might hop over. I hop over.
Yeah, we play Rivals every day. We play Overwatch and Fortnite, all the other games.
Yeah. After playing Rivals, the Overwatch just seems so
true.
So meh. Sorry to say. I mean, my brother plays Overwatch. I got into Overwatch. It is a fun game, but I mean, Rivals just able to give you so many types of gameplay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The combinations of different heroes that give you boost.
Yeah.
Seeing Jeff on Treebeard, seeing Jeff on Groot's shoulder, just doing crazies. It's just fun. So
yeah. I just recently took a like as well. He is a lot of fun to play.
Who?
Groot. Groot is totally going to be the next S tier meta. Like, I think he's so much fun to play.
No, come on now. No way.
I mean, like, Doctor Strange is going to hold #1, but I think Groot's coming up #2 because Groot's combo with Moon Knight or Namor, which are both going up as S tier. Like, sorry, I can go on and on about this.
Maybe
LOTR
got
talk a little bit,
maybe
but you sparked my interest.
We got Scar in the group.
We finally got her talk.
If you wanted me to nerd out, let me talk about video games.
We found the key to turn her engine on, finally.
I'll talk about stats all day and Rivals. LOTR stats, I don't even know a single one. I'm sorry.
That's a good thing or a bad thing?
That's the kind of gaming I do.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Awaken the monster.
Yeah, no, we're all very, very much so addicted to Rivals.
I mean, you gotta give to NetEase though. This Rise Tour game, it's a beautiful looking game. The commander, the hero's design. I mean, the map design looks pretty. I enjoy it. I like the way the game looks. And they did a fantastic job with Rivals. You know why they did a fantastic job with Rivals? Because they pulled the dev from Rise to War to work on that. That's why we got the different names now. That's why we got the different devs now.
What I really like about Rise to War is there's a cap as far as you can spend a certain amount, you can get your little team together, and you're done. Because these other pay-to-wins are coming at you every fucking month with a new set of commanders, a new set of gear, blah, blah. I like that you can play it and it's capped, because if they came out with new meta commanders every freaking month like other games, I can't do that no more. Those days are gone. I'm not doing that. But I don't think, when you consider it, I don't think, well, if it were me, common sense tells you you keep this game going. You don't ever let it die, because this franchise has so much coming, right? And there's just so much potential that your average casual whatever gamer is going to go watch this new whatever it is, Lord of the Rings movies that are coming out, Lord of the Rings show. I don't even know what the future holds, but I know there's more coming. You would never let this die. You would keep this forever. This game could go forever, because my goodness, there could be this huge uptick in interest and activity and whatever after imagine they come out with movies that are comparable to the first set of Lord of the Rings. My goodness, you got millions of people out here going to try and find a Lord of the Rings game, right?
Yep, and they aren't. They don't come out. They don't come out with new stuff for Lord of the Rings. So this game could definitely be seen,
which is great, because it could be so much worse for everybody.
Yes.
It could be so much worse. It could be this never-ending, just drain on your finances if you were competitive, and you wouldn't be able to keep up. Most people, it'd just be too much. So that's nice.
Yeah. Love it, man. Hopefully we can see a lot more. Hopefully, more momentum comes. New season of Rings of Power comes out this year. Hopefully there's more stuff coming out with the game and stuff, because they usually do stuff together. So, but that's why just to summarize, that's why Rivals is doing so well. They pulled the original devs from Rise to War and put it there. So we all know.
And that game's going to dominate for the next 3 or 4 years.
Definitely.
And especially if they just keep dropping commanders, like, you know, they drop new commanders all the time, new heroes all the time. My goodness.
And it's free, you know.
What a library.
It's free, so they can keep doing that. People are going to keep coming back for every time. So.
And they're updating stuff. They're balancing constantly, right? Of course. Duh.
Yeah. All right.
I have to bounce, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Maddox, was a pleasure, brother.
And,
We're coming to an end here. So if you're we're just gonna say bye. So I gotta hit the hay too. So I'm gonna shout out to Johnny Boy for the 2 super chats, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Help support what we do here. Don't forget, if you haven't yet, like and subscribe. You know, it's free. And you guys do know it helps the algorithm push content out. So if you're one of the 45 people still watching, hit that subscribe, hit that like button. All right. We're going to be here again next week, Jax. Next Friday, we're back. Okay. So making that announcement.
Don't do yourself.
No, we're here. Next Friday, 20 UTC. Okay.
Using everybody with this, and then a motherfucker go AFK for like 7 months.
We're here, man. We're here.
I am not saying nothing no more.
Either you come in Friday or you aren't. But we're here next Friday.
Happening.
All right.
Nope. Not happening. Nope. I'll believe
guys,
it when I see it, and that's the way it is forward with you, sucker. I'm not going. No. Nope.
That's fine. That's fine. So I'll be here, and you're gonna hop on anyway. So
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Do not trust this man if you're listening. Do not trust him.
No.
Do not trust this man.
I don't know if you remember this. Okay, I made a post. Let's see here. Let me check it really quick. I made a post on. Okay, on the.
You know what you are. You like the girl. Well. Okay, I'm just talking myself. You like a girl that you like, and it's fun to be with her, and she got her own life, and you got your own life, and then every 3 or 4 months, or maybe even 6 months, maybe she don't even live in your city, and she just pop in for a week. You have fun together, and she gone, and you don't know when she's coming back, and I surely don't ask her and don't care. It's up to her. And it's great when it happens, but you don't expect it. You don't look out for it. You're not waiting to fuck around for it. It just show up, and you're like, oh, this is great. This is Fellow of the Rings, people. Okay? Hear what I'm telling you. This is who you're dealing with. All right? So he show up, enjoy it. It's fun, hopefully. You take something away from it. But that's it.
You always do. You always take a good time away from it. So, look. On the 24th of December, I made a post saying, stay tuned, something awesome is brewing. And everybody was thinking, like what is it? Was it the tier 3 unit? No, it's not the tier 3 unit. And I did say it takes a little bit of time. So we're coming to a close point in that, in that announcement that hopefully in the next week or so, I'll be able to reveal what it is. It's the reason why. Jax know what it is. Jax, don't say anything, please. We're working on something really, really, really cool that's gonna help all you guys that play Rise to War. So stay tuned for that. You know what that is.
I have no motherfucking idea who this man is or what he talking about.
All right. So it's near DM. You know what it is. Don't play around. So
if he's telling you to expect something, all I can say is, do not expect nothing. Believe it when you see it.
Exactly. Believe it when you see it.
When you see it. That's it. That's all.
I'm just updating you guys that it's coming along really, really nicely, and hopefully it will be ready to be reviewed soon. Okay? Let me just read Luna's comment. She said, I don't want to leave her hanging here before we close. She said, don't you think I should change the tile and movement system, or I'm assuming you're asking they, and the objective system, since it's an obsolete system, you spend several weeks fighting in nearby areas. Yes, I agree. I think we mentioned this a little bit earlier. They've slowed down the game so much that a lot of the fighting that you're doing is just pure farming, which they have, remedied with the scrolls, which has been nice. Because of a lot of things, I wasn't really able to get my commanders up to level 50 yet. So the scrolls have been helping by in the next hour, I should be able to get all my 4 mains very close to the 45 mark, which then I can only level up with PvP. So this is really good. But I do agree that still, it's
you
just,
like me. You got level 44s, bro.
Yeah.
I don't even think I have a level 44, bro. I'm always so behind in the middle, in the beginning into the middle. I'm always so behind.
Well, that may be true, but you still have even with your commanders being a level or 2 below, you always do really well with merit. Like I think you're this week you're at the very top, not at the very very top, but you're really high up in the rankings for our kingdom this week. So
I catch up,
exactly.
because as I start to level, and then it starts to equal out, it starts to have better results, but at the end I show up. But man, in the beginning I'm kind of getting wrecked.
Yeah, I mean, you got plenty of resources right now, so look at me.
Well, that's another reason why you can run 4. Like, how do you run 4 formations?
Yeah, you need the resources.
You got to have a lot of resources. Number one, that's the number one thing. Got to have that.
Come on, baby. The last fight of the night for us to end the stream. Just hit Dr. Ogo. I fared off quite well against him right here. Look at this. Not bad. Just 1 damage dealer. Galadriel holding her own with the Swan Eye 67k. Not bad. I'm going to be changing this setup a little bit later. I'm going to do a couple of tests. I usually don't play this way. I don't usually play with just 1 damage dealer. I'm testing something. There's a few variations of this that I'm testing to see what works best. And you guys, hopefully you'll catch some of that later. All right, Jackson, any final comments for us to close, my friend?
I know for some of us, more so on, the YUDZ, Lame, Iron, whatever merger team, that the results thus far and what appears to be the results at the end, if it continues the same, are definitely, we're happy about. Maybe some of you guys on the other side are not happy about, but I appreciate that you're here. I appreciate that you're active, and this goes out to everybody, not only the teammates on our team, but that, we respect you, and we're happy to have set this up, and we're happy to fight you guys, and we look forward to more of the same, and especially if we can get a Premier League going. But just to say, I appreciate everybody's time that came on. I appreciate all the players that are here and that you're still playing, you're active, whatever team you're on. And, at the end of the day, it's just for fun. It's just to pass the time, and that's what we're doing. So let's make the best of it the rest of the way.
Yep. I make your words mine. Maddox, thank you, brother, for being on. Turgon, you're not on, but thank you. Thanatos for jumping on as well. Lonely and Lady Scar, thank you for joining.
Thanks, y'all, for having me.
All right, everybody. You take care. You guys have a great weekend. See you guys back here. And happy gaming. Take care.